see where we're at here. Copy this link. Get over to tradecaster.com. Send that link in there. Start stream. Alrighty. Checking out our levels. We did get our numbers come out. 7:30. Durable good orders and GDP growth rate. Durable goods came in at 0, as expected was 1.1, and GDP came in at 3.3%, and a 2 is expected. So GDP growth is up. Down from the previous reading, which is interesting. But since that, we got a little bit of a pop off this morning. What we have earnings yesterday was. Let's see, I'm gonna put my finance here and give you. I believe Tesla yesterday guided lower. Usually I just come into these, just check quick little bit of news, see if there's anything doing. It would help to have my speaker on if I wanted to hear anything pop off. Alrighty, so Market Watch. GDP data reflects strong U.S. economy growth of 3.3% in the fourth quarter. All of this going to if the Fed will cut rates come March, and they still believe so. I'm guessing January we're going to hold as per them. Anybody pricing this in, and we flipped from yesterday. Yesterday this was at 50%, 50.1%, and today is now down to 44% again. So we've been bouncing around with this rate cut decision idea. After the information today, that seems like this is probably a little lower as well, but markets are taking it as good news for the moment. We'll see what happens in 1 minute. We're at highs. Yesterday we had this zone that I thought was kind of important. I'm going to use it. And we're open in 30 seconds. We had these highs here that was important. And then we have the all-time high created yesterday right there at 11:52 a.m. So those are kind of the overhead areas to look at. I'm going to look to be pretty aggressive today. I've been kind of pussyfooting around, and that kind of caused me to get stopped out a bunch, and then also kind of just blow up a bit yesterday. So we're going to do what we're good at. Take our money and run. There we go. We are open. Initially, we don't trade that initial balance, but at the opening range, I should say. Let's have a day-to-day temp. Let's go, baby. All right, so we're opening to the downside a bit here. See if this continues to push. 30 seconds left in the opening candle here. Pushing to the downside. I'm going to look to see what kind of push up we get. I would have liked to have shorted this area, but I didn't want to open right on it, right? That's not where I like to open. We got to just kind of be patient a little bit, but like I said, I'm going to be aggressive on it. Okay, post this link here. That's dumping down. Man, that would have been a nice little short there from the overnight high down. Would have been a good start. But we're going to look see if this zone holds or not, because yesterday I took some orders on it on an eval account after we got off stream and took some money on that. $1,500. So we're gonna look to be using this here. All right, patience now. Patience could be just rotating up. Watch for a bounce here. There's some liquidity in this area. Overnight spent most of the time down at these lows, so we do expect to kind of come down here and clean that out. I do want a little bit of a bounce here before I could take a short. I do, but like I said, I want to be aggressive. I want to take my hits and go and get some money on the table, build a buffer, and start to make some decent moves on the day. Kind of got to dig out of this hole that I built myself yesterday. Turn the machine back on. Alright, so we're getting a little bit of a bounce off this little zone here, so it is acting as a spot of interest. Oop. Okay, so we are pushing to the bounce area there. Oh, the wrong link there. We have been watching Microsoft as our leader for the last few days. It's kind of rotating through its little bit of an opening range here from the overnight and into the pre-market session. We bounced off of this zone that I had drawn up in the overnight, so I'm gonna look to come back to that range, and then we can maybe get some buys down there. But from up here, gonna kind of look to see if we could reject the overnight high again, or if we get a flush of this low here. I'm going to take a momentum breakdown of this low just to be a little aggressive on it. I do like that idea here with this being a breakdown of the opening range. And then I leave my stop up here. I don't want to get stopped that high, but it's just going to be the aggressive nature of the day today, trying to catch some ticks on some breakdowns from these highs. I think that number was... It's good news and bad news, right? Good news, the economy is still resilient. Bad news, they're not going to get a rate cut on that. So we're going to see what happens here. Maybe we could rotate back to this level here, get a little bit of a wick off top, and then we could get a better trade location up at the top end here. Overall, like I said, I chopped myself up the last 2 days on trades that should have been profitable. So the day before I was able to grind out. Yesterday I was not. And today we're going to do a little bit of quick hits, see what we can do, grab some money and run. Got to have my coffee. Daytradingcoffeecompany.com. Daytradingcoffeeco.com, I should say. I'll put the link in the Tradecaster. Brand new company. My new and improved website. But we're going to look to trade here first, and then we'll talk about that a little later. I want that tilt. If we get up a little higher, if we wick off on that overnight high area, I would like to see what happens there. Maybe we could get a better trade location for a little bit of a bounce, a sell-off there. We have all of this accumulation here. If we break out from the high and then kind of just sit on top of this level, maybe we'll look to take a breakout as well. So we have a couple different scenarios that we're looking at. We're right dead center of the opening range now. There's a high volume node here. There's a little bit of there's a 50-50 tilt, nothing crazy, but price is kind of just looking at like it wants to maybe even recover a portion of this move that it took from the 730 number. 730 started here, so usually when we get like a number move pre-market, we'll like to recover that. So we'll see if we can at least try and capture some of that little bit of recovery. If we decide to rip down, I'll take that money and run. So there's that rollover that we're looking at. If we can get this thing to kind of push through here, then I'm gonna be short through the bottom of this zone at 681, and then I'm gonna let it just do its thing. Be aggressive with it. I'm gonna secure some profits. Try and get up early. It's a headband type of day. Just feeling it. So look at this momentum to the downside. We could break this bottom end of the opening range, then we should get the flush, at least a VWAP, and then hopefully down. Like I said, this was the 730 candle. That was the whip down, that first initial move. Maybe we'll try and clean that up there. If I was a little bit more buffered, I would be taking 2 contracts here, but so I could shed one at VWAP and let the other one run for the rest of the day. But now we're going to try and take this short here. Momentum, break to the downside. Delta's kind of playing along with us. It is pushing harder. So we're going to look to see if we can get the shorts playing with us. Get in front of it. But that was a nice little bounce at that spot. So that's a good indication that there is a wall here, and that if that wall does break, then we should get a continuation break to the downside. Glad we didn't just get wicked in there. We had our entry at a decent location, I guess. So value area high is the high of the day, and then we have down to about where our target is as value area low. So wouldn't mind it trying to test the high here to rotate back down. But if we do get this momentum push, failure, rotate back down again, then that third break through this zone should be the move to kind of push us to the downside. Yeah, I've been missing out on some entries because I've been waiting a little too long, and those, after I miss out on those, then I've been kind of playing catch up all day. So gonna try and get something early, and then today we're gonna just take everything that we see that's a good opportunity up until 11 o'clock, unless we go up huge, and then I'm gonna just sit. But we ain't going down today. Like I said, this zone here was kind of important yesterday as well. We had a couple bounces off of that, so I'm going to set this as a right ray. So we have that now as some information. $30-minute candle. Wick this down to about 50% of this ignition candle here. So a lot of times it'll come into that 50% and try and rally off of that. But I'm not looking to see this market push into all-time highs again today. We'll see if it does, but we're going to use the levels from yesterday and try and work off those. We did yesterday. We sold off pretty hard all the way through. We turned red. So let's see if this market wants to kind of continue that flush down. Right. See, this wick here it's pretty telling as well. Hopefully that we can play along with that a bit. Lower high, lower high. It's a little bit of a wedge type deal here. So if we try and crack the low here, we should get the momentum to break us down. Like I said, I'm gonna have a little bit wider of a stop on this to start, just to not get whipped out right away. If we do move in my direction, I will move the stop. You can see the delta trying to, the price is pushing up and delta is pushing down. So we're getting a bit of a divergence there. This is an interesting price action, right? Because you see that now the delta has switched and now it's trying to put pressure to the upside, but it's not catching up. So that's the kind of divergence I like to see. And then I would like to see that the longs get involved at the top there and get shorted and put some pain on those longs. We don't really quite have that, but we are getting that hard, strong delta to the downside, and we're also not kind of pushing. So we're really in a decision area. So if it does break out of the high here, we're going to be patient on it and see what happens at these highs. Maybe we'll adjust this order to the high side. But realistically, like I said, I think if we do break down this level, if it is the correct move, it should do it hard, fast, and we should be able to capture at least, you know, a little piece of this, get down to at least try to get to the VWAP, and then try to be tight with our trail, maybe, you know, see where we can go from there. So that's what I'm thinking about today. Like I said, I've been a little bit standoffish, and that's been kind of costing me some money here. So if I can catch some of these aggressive moves, build myself a little bit of a buffer, and then be a little bit more aggressive as the day goes on. Tradecaster.com is where I'm streaming every day of the week. I do have a YouTube up, but we're going to try and slowly transition over to there. Let's see if we can get this flush down now. We look like we're trying it, but it's still giving a bounce off there. This little wedge, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, looks like it wants to get heavy. And it should get heavy hard and fast if it does. If it rejects it, right, then we're going to pop to the upside. Microsoft also kind of doing some of that dance. Apple pushing to downside, accepting within the range. So maybe we get down to 194 in Apple, and that'll help us rotate to the downside. There we go. This looks like it could be the one. With all these wicks here to grab all that liquidity, tells me that the short has to be at least attempted here, right? Something needs to be looking to break down. We're at the very bottom end of the opening range, right? The opening range is this zone here. I feel like that breakdown should happen at this point, and if it doesn't happen at this point, then we may not totally get what we were looking for. I would love to rotate back to the bottom of the overnight low. That would be a great target to have. If I can hold that long, that'd be fantastic, but we're going to watch and see what happens at VWAP and at this level before we decide. So we are triggered in now short. See if we can get the flush that we're looking to get, or if it's going to bounce off of this level. So I'm really trying to get a flush here kind of quickly. Nothing really happening, kind of getting a bounce there, but that delta is showing us that there is sellers coming in. S&Ps are pushing down first, and they are not, but the Nasdaq's kind of holding. Want this Apple trade to push down. Look at that Apple move to the downside. That should help us. Not getting the push down yet. Still not getting it. We need to crack this low here, 74.75, and that probably will ignite the more sellers to get in here, right? 74.75. That area there. I'm in based on my zone, but we are not playing along as I would have liked, hard and fast, right? Waiting on this thing here. We're kind of floating the negative. Like I said, I'm risking a little more than I would like to on this first trade here, but I want to give it some room to breathe if it's going to play around with this level some. You know, based on these wicks, the price action is telling me that it's heavy. I don't see why we wouldn't give it at least one shot to push to the downside, especially look at Apple with this kind of heaviness to it. Look at that price action speeding up right at that level. It looks like it wants to try and get heavy and get hard, like a hard push to the downside, but it's just not quite cracking yet. We need that thing to crack and give us a little bit of confluence in this. But like I said, I'm letting it breathe up here a bit. I've been a little weak with my aggressiveness, so this is where we're going to try and take our aggressiveness a bit more seriously. Like right there is another kind of liquidity grab, so we're waiting. Get our first move to VWAP. See what happens at VWAP. See if we can just rip right through it. If it does get down through this says 76. This right here below here is 74. Should get some momentum to play out. So there's that little bit harder of a push now. We're getting that move to the downside. Let's see if we can push now through that low. We're bouncing off of it a bit. Not quite. Oh, I didn't have this on here. So you can see that I'm actually in a trade live. I want you to be able to see what I'm seeing. as far as numbers are concerned. If it doesn't crack this low, we might not get that follow through that we're looking for, but we do need to push through that right there is a very important level, it seems, for this previous session. I mean, this overnight session. There we go. That's a faster move, pushing to the downside. Let's see if we can get that now to flush that zone. There we go. We're flushing that zone. We're pushing to the downside, trying to secure some of this. We don't want to get stopped because of that. So I'm not going to risk that full 3 or whatever I had there. I'm going to go above the zone. So if we get above the zone, then there's a chance it's going to rotate all the way back to highs. But we don't want that to happen. You don't want this to be like a liquidity grab, pop us off all the way off to the upside. So we want this to continue to sell off here. Be patient with it as best we can, but also be aggressive, secure some profits if we can do that down through the downside. Apple popped a little bit, doesn't help us. Don't like that at all for our trade, but I'm trying my best to try and be aggressive on the short side. Momentum type deal here. That's a $200 loss if we do take that loss, but I don't want it to crack this high here because that's going to invalidate some of this selling pressure that we're seeing, right? We don't want that at all. We want this thing to continue down to the downside. I want to try and do my best to hold and get a little bit more of a real move before I move my stop down and through. The price is just bouncing and bouncing and bouncing from here. We're running into a little bit of resistance. We're not getting the kind of price action I want to see pretty fast, but I'm trying my best to be patient after the last few days of stopping myself out on stuff a little too early. So if we can get below this yellow line here, hopefully we can hold it. If we do that, then we will be trailed, but right now it looks like it's trying to bounce pretty hard. Seems like maybe that was a liquidity grab there. Patient. If we can crack that low again, that'd be beautiful. But it looks like we want to pop the highs. Yeah, we're out on that trade. I'm going to take that heat. If it does pop here, it looks like it's going to invalidate what we're looking at as far as the heaviness is concerned. The Apple move to the downside, it sort of failed, and we didn't get the follow through, so that pulled us back to the upside, unfortunately. We will try this trade again if we do fail this breakout to the upside. So just, you got to be a little patient with it. I don't like this wick off at the bottom and then Apple grabbing that, right? So don't like that trade there as far as not following through, but I do like the idea still, so I'm going to shoot my shot with it a second time if it does come through there to try and give us that actual push to the downside this time. If Apple could not break through this high here, we should be able to continue to the downside. But if we do pop here, we break out of this little zone, we could rotate back to the overnight highs. Then we, like I said, look for the short off the overnight highs and back through and see if we could rotate from the highs that time. But if we do break out again, then possibly just off to the races again. But the lack of pushing through this high here too, like that tells me a little something. So original stop was up here, we would have been probably hunted a little bit there as well. Delta's pushing up, and we got people want to be short in this market, it seems like. Delta pushing up, price not quite playing along. 0 for 1 on the day so far. So there's that sweep of the bottom, grab of liquidity, pushes continuous up to the upside potentially. All right, but if that fails, then that rotation back to the overnight low is still the possibility. Yesterday, this is like I said, a lot of action there, looking to kind of play off of that. Do we break out from here now? Right, We're above this level. We had a liquidity sweep of the bottom, looking to go higher. If that fails, then does this rotate and push down to the downside, right? That's the type of thought processes you need to have while we're in here. Getting some wicks. Let's see what happens here. Still grabbing liquidity there. Might want to break that down there. Get a little bit earlier in. Try and be aggressive with my entries. See if we can get that to be like trying to break people out, trying to get longs involved, and then stop them and run them down. That's my thought process on that. We do have the S&Ps fighting with that level from yesterday around 49.16. So if that holds below there, then this short idea could come back into play. Apple pushing back down again. So maybe this will be that push to the downside that we were looking for. If our stop gets, like our push to the upside here gets pushed, we're triggered in, so we'll see what happens here. If we could flush the low here now, should get some good movement on it. But if this is just a liquidity grab here, I'm going to be pumped out. S&P is holding that low below 49.16, so hopefully that can help us here. Once again, watching Apple, see if Apple can now continue to push to the downside, help carry us down. Apple and Microsoft. Microsoft also getting a little bit of a push to the downside. We're floating at the bottom of my little zone there. Hopefully we can now break down again and push through the bottoms here, carry us through. Our original stop probably would have ticked us out before, so no matter what, we would have been out. We're right back into trying this short again. I have this short bias here just to try and clean up the overnight lows. It's not a huge move realistically in the grand scheme, so if we could get all the way down to there, that'd be a great trade. Not really looking for it to happen super fast, obviously, but if we could crack this 76, I'm going to move to break even, and then we're going to have a risk-free trade there, and then we're going to be aggressive on trying to get this thing down to VWAP, and then hopefully we could crack VWAP. If we can crack VWAP, then this zone is definitely a target below, right? The idea the first time was good, but we got tricked into the move. We stopped ourselves out because we didn't want to take any sort of further heat just in case this thing did decide to rally. We need to get through here and hold before I move this stop here. I don't like this area, really, because it could bounce back up and get us out, and I don't like that. But if it does have that gusto, if it does have that push to the downside here, we should get a good, nice flush to the bottom, like at least to VWAP, like a real quick VWAP grab. But if you see this thing go super fast, whip back down and whip back up, it's probably a liquidity grab. Be careful. It could be a sign that the longs are coming back into play. So just be mindful of that. We are bouncing off there once again, which is concerning to me. It's concerning, but also at the same time, if it does break, we could. S&P's ripped right above that 16 level. I don't like that either. Damn, man, just not playing with me. Play with me. Give me one time. One time today. Being into profit, right? We're into profit. I hate to roll over and get stopped out on a move that happens like that. But I really believe in this this level here. This 76 line in the sand there is being very stubborn. If we crack it, usually that stubborn breakdown will happen, and it'll give us that move that we're really, really looking for, right? So there's that. Seems like a liquidity grab above. It should now, with that kind of price action, with that speeding up of the price, and then that quick wick to the downside, we should now look to try and break that. There you go. It's speeding up to the downside. If we break back above, like I said, I'm going to take my stop out. I moved it right above that candle there because that's where price is getting pulled down, pulled down, pulled down. So we're going to look to see. Hopefully we can crack that low. If not, this is just another liquidity grab to rip us to rip our face off, which I don't want to happen. My price action here is now trying to push and break down. We are breaking, but it's not. It's holding, it's holding, it's holding. We need this thing to break. And that's where sellers should pour into the market. So we have brought ourselves pretty much back to break even if we can secure up to that 76. So I'm going to be break even on this trade there, because if it doesn't flush here, then it probably will rebound and stop us out anyway. And I don't want to be stopped out for more. I'd rather just take my break even and cut my losses. So we need to see what happens at VWAP here. If it does get to VWAP, so there's that VWAP push. I want to trail it down now. I'm going to get myself back to even on the day above our breakdown zone, that candle there, and then let's see what happens at VWAP. Can we rotate back all the way to the overnight lows with a push, man? Give me that push through VWAP. I want to get down to this zone here. If we get down to this zone here, then we can move our stop above VWAP and use VWAP as that trailing stop. So come on down. Push down to the downside there. We're wicking it. I'm going to be pretty tight with it. If it doesn't flush hard here, we are coming into a resistance point. Like I said, I usually use VWAP as a target on a rotation from a pullback or from an extreme, but we're looking to try and be aggressive with our profits, but also smart with our trailing. VWAP seems to be holding strong here, but not to the point where I want to yet move my stop. I have it held here just for if it does give me like a hard flush down, because most of that was like kind of weak. If we do get stopped out above here, we're break even on the day, but we're looking to kind of secure more of this move here. So you see this little wick here. If we could break down now from this liquidity zone, this higher volume candle there, we should, in theory, break through VWAP. Break through VWAP. If we do, like I said, this should be, if we can crack that low there, if we crack this low, then the VWAP will act as our trailing stop, because that'll be putting us up with a little bit of profit on the day. I'm break even on the day with my trail, pretty much. I don't want this to stop me out right here. I don't want to take my profits here and then it run down for the rest of the day if it cracks VWAP, right? So I just think that number that we had this morning, it wants to get cleaned up. It always tends to do that. That's usually an algo run to the upside or downside. Maybe clean up some of that wick on the bottom half before it decides to come back up. We are just above this candle here with our stop. I have it trail like in my hand here. It's not actively here. It's up here right now. It's at 790, 679. So you see these wicks. We're still grabbing some of that liquidity there. We're still trying to push the downside. It is still heavy. Delta's still in our favor. I don't have tilt up, so I can't really check it, but let's see if we can flush the VWAP here. If we do get a harder bounce, we'll get stopped out. But really, I'm going to say that we're probably looking to get heavy still further. We want to get sellers involved. So we got 49, 16, 50. I'm going to let go of this so I can pull up my Apple wicking the bottom here. I needed to continue to push down. Okay, something's coming out here. Some sort of number. 9 o'clock. Okay, getting heavy, get heavy with this. So we're in a trade and a new home sales number came out apparently, and we're whipping around a bit, holding this level. We'll probably get wicked out because of this number. Yep, we're out. So down 130. So these number that came out, new home sales expected was 645 up 664. So all right, well we came back, took back about $100 on that trade. Probably could have took off at VWAP, but didn't expect that new home sales to be very important. It is what it is there. See if we crack VWAP. I'm gonna look to short here. Continue my short to the downside. I like the way that price grabbed where we were at and came back down short. So like I said, I'm going to take this again. I'm going to be aggressive today. I said I'm going to be aggressive. If we do get this breakdown from our zone here, I would like to see it get harder flushing. S&Ps is rolling back down to below the lows. If we get back into that zone there, it's another good area to get our short back involved. Still looking to see if we can get this rollover here. It's not like after that new home sales, if you don't get that huge rip to the upside, I mean, we did get stopped out because of it, and shit happens. But normally you're going to get some sort of bigger type of bounce on that kind of move. So if we're going to continue to the downside, this probably will keep going right here. I'm going to be quick with it. Hopefully we can flush this low. If we don't, if we suck up and we go right back to the upside, we're going to get stopped out. Quick on it. Looks like that was a grab. Being aggressive. Apple flushed the low. It looks like it's pushing down again. Going to be pushing this to the downside. Want this VWAP to crack, and I want to get down to this level here. S&Ps is pushing down. Don't want to crack down, huh? Come on, baby. You know you want to go to the downside. There we go. That's the push. We should now continue all the way to that zone at the bottom. And if we do get down to that zone there, this wick is all that number. We want to try and clean that up. Clean that wick up. Oh, that would be beautiful. And then rotate down to the bottom of... If we're going to do that, then we could look to rotate all the way to the low of the day. Looking to see if we can't get to the bottom of that before we move our stop to break even. Yeah, we're gonna do that. VWAP is gonna be our stop now. Oop. I'm gonna keep that there. We're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep taking our shots at this short. It is a heavy short. We're gonna keep breaking down. There's a breakdown of that initial breakout bar and right to our zone here. Stopped out again. Took about 100 on it again, so now we are basically even. Need to keep seeing what's going to happen here if we're going to stay below VWAP. 2 times here now. My target VWAP would have been, that was 400 and this was 295. So, being even, trying to get really, if the home sales didn't come in, our move played out correctly and we were good, but that stupid home sales number, that's usually why I don't like to be into a trade right at an hourly close or anything like that. So we did clean up this kind of initial here. We didn't quite get to the wick, so that is still in play. I don't see anything. Apple is grabbing some liquidity here and pushing now to the upside. Failure of this and a pop back above 76 could lead us to the high side. However, we still are in a short bias currently, looking to clean up those overnight highs, overnight lows. There's a break above that, pushing to the high there. Could go long here through 76 to rotate back to the high side because S&Ps are grabbing some liquidity at the bottom as well. Apple was grabbing some liquidity and pushing up. I'm going to look to see if I could flip my bias here. If we do get above this area here, we should accept and continue on to the upside. I do have a short bias. However, I think if we do crack and rip, then possibly we can catch that. Buyers have just been around a lot lately, and my shorts haven't played out as far as I would like to get them. So that's another reason I kind of flip to get some of these moves to the upside. But if we continue to the downside from here, that's a good move. I'm not mad about that, missing it. If it holds VWAP, that's a good indication that something like that may play out. You might get the bottom end of the V. S&Ps are rolling again. Apple is rolling again, so we may see this thing start to push to the downside. However, if Apple grabs some liquidity here and pops the ties, then that will continue to carry us on. Microsoft pushing a bit down. Is it grabbing some liquidity here? It's the top end of the close yesterday, or right near the close. We did sell off from here yesterday, so potentially looking at that as well. So we're going to be mindful of that. Okay, grabbing some liquidity after this break of this little kind of downtrend there. Let's see what happens here. If we get triggered in, maybe we can get some decent long action out of this. I wanted to kind of get long from this spot here, but let's see. Maybe we could get a little pop in this. Carry Microsoft and Apple to the upside. Apple pushing us up. Now dipping down a bit. I don't have like super live 8 data here either. It's kind of slightly delayed, so I'm using the general idea of these names. I'm being aggressive. Like I said yesterday, a lot of opportunities that I did take didn't play out. That's a great liquidity grab there for our shorts to be validated again. So if we do get stopped out, I'm quick to flip. Let's go. Let's see if we can rotate back to this overnight high. Can we rotate back? S&P's grabbed some liquidity and is trying to push back to their opening range high. It's holding above 916.50. If we can crack above our liquidity zone here, we're at break even. I'm going to be at break even plus 10 right now. So let's see if we could crack and continue on. Touch off on those overnight highs there before we decide to rotate back down for real. If not, if this is just going to stop right there and rotate us back down, we're at least secured on our break even, and we're not going to be stopped out. Look, I'm looking to be, like I said, aggressive aggressive, but also patient, because one of these is going to play out in the direction that I want it to. Some of these, like I said, I'm going to keep getting kind of ticked out on stops. If it doesn't play in that direction, the opposite end may be in play. So that's why I like to do it. I like to take a couple shots at it. I'll take my stop outs there. I'm going to buy a market order here. I'd like this momentum kind of playing out here. We're going to see if we can catch this thing to push to the upside. It sucks to get stopped out on that right away, but we do like this price action here. If I've been taking base hits, I'd be up pretty good. But we're looking to catch, not a home run, but we're looking to catch a real momentum type move after a break. Oop, now stop breaking it. I'm so used to being a short guy that every time I move my stop above, I hit a stop instead of a break. So we're break even again. Look, I'm taking free trades here. Every time I'm up 100, I'm trying to risk about 100. So we're at the point of control. If we break above the point of control, maybe we could get this follow through. Not that I want to take profits up there. All-time highs always seem to be in play when we're at all-time highs. So now we're rotating here. I'm going to be loose. Give me looseness. Give me loose. Give me loose. Come on, break above this point of control here. Not playing along. Not playing along. Get above it. Get above it. There we go. Push. There's a good wick. This price sped up now. Looked like it grabbed some liquidity there. I'm going to move my stop to here. Secure $100 on it. And let's see if we can get this thing to run to overnight highs. I'm trying to be aggressive, but also secure a lot of what I'm doing here. So up 3 on this. Point of control just below that. If we're going to wick that and rotate back to downside, I'm going to take my profits on there. We're going to take that off. We're up 100. Okay, let's see what we can do here. Like I said, I was trying to be patient. This kind of move does lend itself to wanting to push to the upside and continue on, but I'm being tight. I'm being aggressive, trying to secure some profits here. Should be up a little bit more on the day, but being up 100, we're happy with that right now. We're going to see what kind of price action we get here now. So if this was a get shorts involved, stop them out above here, rotate back down, we may get a failure here, and we may get a hard flush of our initial breakdown point. And if we do get that, then we might be able to take our short now, rotate back to the downside, right? Because Apple is grabbing liquidity, but it's at its pre-market highs and it's failing it, right? It didn't give you that breakout while we're trying to break out here. So those kind of thoughts should be creeping into your head, giving you ideas. Being aggressive, taking my profits, taking aggressive entries. That's where I'm my best, so I should be able to be doing this. There we go. That's a nice little flush, but that could be a liquidity grab. Be careful here. That could be looking to grab it and go long because the S&Ps are holding. I want to see what Apple is doing here. Apple is pushing to the downside a little bit. Like you can see, it's a pretty similar chart, but this could break and now run after that kind of bounce play there. I'm going to look to go. I missed it. Might be for the better because I'm watching this cumulative delta here. We are trying to push up, but we're not pushing up in delta. So that could give us that little bit. If we get one more push up here to point of control, fail that, then you can rotate back to the downside if that delta doesn't play along, right? You want to fail that level right there. You give yourself a little bit of breathing room and then potentially rotate back to the downside. I always said these take profits as if they're going to get hit. That's like a crazy flush kind of move, you know? So we're getting my delta divergence type strategy here. Plus, we're getting Apple not wanting to break the highs of the pre-market levels. And, you know, now we're going to see if it does want to do that. If it does do that, then you're going to see this continue on to the upside and the delta will play along. But like I said, right now it's not. We're getting negative delta and we're trying to push the highs. The tilt is heavy long, so let's see if we can get this thing to roll over from here. Let's see if we can get it. That's my setup, right? Come back into a zone of liquidity, attempt to break highs with price, not get new buy orders that are willing to participate here, lack of momentum, kind of trick people into getting long again, and then melt them off hard. That's what I'm looking to see. If it continues on with light delta, that's invalidating my idea, but it will wick the high, get them involved, and then rotate back down pretty hard. So like you see, in the delta is not playing along, and we're trying to push highs here. So that's really a point where I could be making a decision to come down short below like something like here, because that should fail fast. But if we do get this delta start to push up now, then it may play along to the upside. So now delta is catching up a bit, but not quite, right? So that wick the high there, maybe try to get some momentum longs involved and try and fool them in and get short there. If not, it can continue on, right? That's just our idea here. I haven't been taking those trades and they've been playing out and I've been getting vengeful, so I'm going to take that trade. That's my go-to bread and butter kind of move there. But as we come up to these highs, it seems like delta wants to catch up. Yeah, delta's catching up now. So now we're getting that. So since we got that push and that little bit of a pullback, and now we're kind of rotating, Apple is pushing up. I want to see what happens at 195.23, but now I don't want this order to be here anymore. I hit that flat in there. I don't want that order to be there anymore. I want that to be off the table, and I want to wait to see what happens at these highs. That would have been a great trade here from a breakout down there. We would be a little bit further. I mean, we would have been stopped out anyway. I can't be taking this kind of pullback and not, securing some profits on my aggressive days. I think we're going to play with these levels, and we're going to actually have some reaction at them. So let's see what we can do here. Once again, Delta's tipping back, as price is trying to make new highs, tilt is getting heavier long. I believe we're at 76, 77% longs. So this might be that failed breakout there. Yeah. Let's see. Below this area here, these could be liquidity grabs. If we do flush that, still, that's that breakout candle. We would like to see that fail. And then that's gonna, maybe we won't get totally up to that overnight high, but it would be nice for it to get there. If it does get there, I'm gonna run this up there and then try and take, if we get like a liquidity grab, maybe run up to 738, kind of a snappy move, then our short will just come in. Give me that one more snappy move to the upside. If not, then we could get this thing to be the failure to the downside. Like you can see, this is just kind of building up here. It's not. I'm not using this as an entry or anything like that. I'm just kind of just showing you how it's holding this momentum to the upside here. That push up to that side and looking to rotate it back down. Didn't really quite wick this high here either. So there's a bunch of liquidity here, as you can see from the pre-market overnight session. Pre-market session here, we chopped yesterday. The high end here, we chopped and then broke down. So looking, the breakdown yesterday was, come on, where are we at? The breakdown yesterday was from right where we're at there. So having our entry right below where that continuation breakdown was is interesting. Maybe having it up here at 700 would be better. Look at that thing crack. Right as that line there where we were grabbing. We got a pretty strong push there from that. So we're probably going to get triggered in on this short if this isn't just a liquidity grab of this area here. And then, because we're not far from below it, but we're below it enough where we shouldn't have just been grabbed in for a run up to the highs. You're getting that delta push off, which is kind of congruent. If you do get another wick of the high and then the rotate to the downside, that could be where we're looking to now actually kind of fall over to the downside. I need a phone charger. Fail that again. Didn't make new highs. Delta flattening out. Price trying to make highs. Not quite getting there. So this could be the spot where we want to get involved for the short here. Below there. Give me that. Is that the right one? Thank you. Gotta plug my phone in here. I have that order set in there. Plug my phone in. Just dying. I didn't charge it overnight. All right, so we are pushing to those highs. The the crack of the delta to the high side there invalidates that as a short from that exact point. So we're gonna wait and see what happens here at these overnight highs. Like I said, we want to look and see if we can get a whippy breakout and then a rotate to the downside. Apple is playing with that 195.23 level, and Microsoft is breaking new highs. Nvidia chopping around a bit. I like how Apple's been kind of playing around with these levels here, so I'm going to watch that more so than anything. We're just out here. Thank you. More coffee from the lady. So we're kind of rejecting that area there. Possibly look to reject here. I want to see a rip kind of out above that and then down. That would give me more of an entry idea. Let's see. Can we get this thing to rip us up a little bit? 80% long on the tilt. I think if we get a whip of the high, we should break down. I don't want to get ticked in and then rip my face off. I want this to confirm above, fail, and then rotate back down, and that's where I'll get my good entry. Nothing here. I just want to make a new high because the high of the day is the opening range, and I just want that to fail. Because if that happens, then really we should get some sellers to be involved. I don't think that it's convinced to be pushing all-time highs again. Our long here was a great idea. Our profit target would have been there, and there it is. So there's a speed up. The candle's kind of whipping around a little bit. I missed this the other day based on not taking it aggressively. So we haven't quite broke the high. There's the whippy break of the high. You can see price start to speed up. If it doesn't just absolutely rip your face off right here, it should fail and rotate back to the downside. So that's what we're going to look for. If it doesn't hold, you're not getting a true breakout. But there you go. I mean, tilt was super heavy long. Everything is super heavy long. Sometimes that means that it is going to continue on. Sometimes that means it's going to break down, get a bunch of longs involved, and then rotate back to the downside. I do not hate this as a attempt below here. Like I said, I wanted to stay below 38. I want this thing to kind of whip here, big whippy candle. And I've been missing it on waiting for confluence on my divergences on these levels. So I'm going to look to try and get in this, get out if it doesn't play. That's what risking 40 ticks on it just above this zone here, because if it does fail it again, we should, like I said, bang down to the downside with some gusto. Oops. Yeah. 73875. There we go. So like I'm saying, like we got this whip candle. We're holding above, which is kind of interesting that it's not failing kind of quick. But so now if we do fail here, possibly look to see if this will go down hard and fast. If it continues to kind of grind to the upside, then you may just continue on. It's gonna hold the highs, but I'm not looking for that to happen. I want this to rotate. I think a rotational day seems more likely than a trending day on a day like today, especially when we've been at these all-time highs. I've missed these opportunities early in the week to kind of really capitalize on my earning potential, so I don't want to miss out on it today. So here we go. We're gonna get ticked in, see if we can get a flush. See if we get a flush from here. My idea is to not break the highs again. The all-time high right here that this high that we made right there, 736 is. This move right here on the open, can we replicate it? If not, if we get a secondary whip here, I'll be out. Being patient with this here. Patience pays. Let's see. Can we get that push? I want to see if we can push at least to here, this liquidity zone at 706. Obviously, if we get to there, we break through this low volume node there. If we break through that, it should hold that area. And then once people start selling from highs, other people should pour on board and start to sell also. But if it doesn't, if we just grab liquidity here and look to rip it higher, then so be it, right? Kind of just looking to see if it'll hold. Oh, I'm going to leave this here for a second and adjust this because this is not right. This is right here, probably. Gonna hold, huh? You want to hold? But Delta is playing along, right? Not really playing up. Can I get another short add-on here? Below this? Yeah, we'll get that there. Apple's rolling. That should give us a little bit of a confluence here. Look at that wick. Give me that wick down. Push it down. Push it to the downside here. One more time. Yes, I'm adding there. Delta divergence, at a high, at a level. This is a short that I have to take every time because I wasn't taking it in the past week, and it was just going and moving right in my direction right away. So today we're trying to get in on it, get aggressive with it, try to take this trade and make it happen, right? Because we're trying to grab this liquidity, not making longs. Delta's not playing along, trying to push negative. Apple was selling off from the highs. Now it's pushing right on the highs again. Can it sell off from the highs here again? If Apple does that, then we should be able to rotate to the low end of this range. I'm adding a second, looking to take it off down here at these wicks and then hopefully get a runner on. That's really what the plan is. That's how you capitalize on this kind of move if it does play out in your direction. It seems like it's rotating up now. How about right now? You want to roll over one time at my zone? Now Apple's breaking out again, so maybe we're gonna look to see if this thing stops us out one more time, or if not, if it doesn't, then we probably will be filled on the short second entry, looking to see if this thing will play. I'm trying to be aggressive today, trying to play my levels. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes you're in a shit streak, but today I like the way this is setting up. Doesn't tell me that it wants to break out like hard, right? Like the delta's coming in kind of negative here, not pushing new highs. This may wick us out. That would be the unfortunate part, and then roll over. But then I'm going to look to get right back in if it does fail that low of this zone again. So that's really what I'm looking for here. If we can do that, unfortunately, we're kind of fluttering with it. That high, like I said, a lot of times you're going to get that wick of that high, and then it's going to fail again. I am going to look to really be aggressive and try and catch it before it screws me over. But we are sort of just sitting on the highs here. I don't like to sit here too long. It may look to rally if that's the case. Apple pushing. I want Microsoft to maybe be rolling. Yeah, they're Microsoft coming off the highs. NVDA pushing highs. So everything else is kind of holding it up. Microsoft helping me out a little bit, not quite pushing us all the way up, but I don't trust it here. There's that whip, and we're going to get stopped out here. So we're stopped on that. Down 2. I'm going to put this right back here, right below here. If that fails now, then that's where our failure is at. But we got cumulative delta playing along now to the long side. I want this to fucking melt. That's really what I want. We're down 2. I'm going to try and catch this thing after whipping in some longs there above the high and try and see if we can roll this over. Delta is continuing to push on up. Microsoft pushing on up. Apple pushing on up. Really not playing along with our thesis here to rotate through the highs of the overnight session. I don't like the tilt looks so heavy, long, and not breaking down. It's very odd to me today. Here we go. Come on, baby. This should be our push to the downside now. Let's get it. I'm going to do the same deal here. Try and catch this to rip us down, add on as we melt off, get a solid push to the downside, then take off one and be able to kind of let that other one run down. So that's what we're looking to get here. Add to, push down. So there's our trigger in. See if we could get this thing to push now further. This wick of the high, I felt that coming to kind of get us involved on another short. You know you want to go down. You know you want to go to the downside. There's no way that was just grab some more longs. Could it be? Could it be? I don't know. Trying to be aggressive on the day, trying to take our setups as they come. This is another part of my setup that usually plays out pretty nice. Like I said, I haven't been aggressive enough during the week to really capitalize on some of the gains that I should have had early. And then the last 2 days I've been grinding out because I've been just trying to play catch up instead of actually catching some moves and being aggressive. So I'm gonna get back to being aggressive here. That's why I'm taking these shots, especially at these fading these extremes, right? Fading extremes on a day that should it be a trend day, maybe, but I don't. Trend days don't tend to happen that often. So a lot of times you're gonna stay inside days, and I would like this thing to kind of rotate back down and be middle of the range. VWAP would be a great target for the full move to the downside. If this triggers us in, we're going to have 2 on here. And hopefully if it triggers us in, we should get a decent flush here. So we're added on. We got 2 on now. We're looking to see if we can get 1 off down there. At the bottom here, we're looking to hold that. Hold it, baby. Hold it. Let's see if we can hold it and get that 1 off down there. Let's see. Come on, baby. Get us 1 off. If we can get 1 off, that'd be nice. And if we can get that 1, then we should have a runner on for the rest of the move. See, this is what I wanted to have a move ago. Instead of getting stopped out and being down, right? We want to try and capitalize on these kind of moves. We are pushing down to the downside. If this is going to be a true move sell-off from the highs, we should get that move, that piece to get triggered out. I'm going to break even on this. And by break even, I mean a little bit past break even with my ad. I don't want this thing to whip back up on me and grab me out. But you know what? Honestly, I don't. I want to play this out. Let's let this thing fucking move. Let's let this thing try and trigger us out. Be slightly aggressive above the high, the high of the day. That's where our stop's going to be. Because if we get back above that, then we're going to be out and wrong. Let's try and be smart with our trail. That flush through there was pretty hard. It didn't seem like a liquidity grab. It seemed like it was pretty convincing. You're still pushing short. So we should trigger this to take profit 1. We're going to move it to there because we do have a wick there. And I don't want to not get that first one off. Like, give me that first one off so I could be risk-free on the trade and at least secure some profits on it, right? We want to be aggressive with adding contracts and then also shedding them so we can secure some profits. There we go. We took 1 off. We're good. So we only got 1 on now. We have a runner, and we're gonna see how far we can take it down to the downside, right? Let's see if we can play this thing out like we expected it to play. We're gonna be break even there because why risk now having being up this much? If we bounce off this liquidity zone, then it's gonna be a strong bounce. If not, if we do flush it, then we should have that carry on through to the downside. It is a runner, right? Because we did secure that first piece of profit. So we're just running in profit now. There we go, baby. That's what we like to see. This is why we take our shots at our zones and try and let them play out. I'll take the stop out on a wick above the high. That is what it is. That is what, I'm going to be break even there on that. I'm going to take where I took off, and now we're just sitting in the money, right? We're flushing the lows. Our targets normally are going to be VWAP. So when we get to VWAP, we're going to be above our liquidity zone here, which we are. So we're securing that much in profit. If it comes back and rips us out and ticks us and then we're out, so be it. But a strong move like this to the downside should kind of clean through VWAP. And then once we get through VWAP, VWAP's going to be our trailing stop. Hopefully, if we could do that, that'd be a great thing. Maybe we can clean up to the overnight lows. From overnight high to overnight low is usually where we go with our rotational days. That's what I'm looking to see, kind of clean up that overnight low, then go from there where it might want to decide where it's going to be. But like I said, range days are more likely on a day, when we're at these kind of levels. I need this to play along a bit more. I don't want to be ticked out, but I also don't want to give back this big move here, just bouncing off of VWAP, right? So we're out. We're up 565 on the day. Pretty good, solid, securing our profits. We're being aggressive, up 565. Pretty happy with that move there. Will it continue to the downside? I mean, I gave back what? I gave back 300, but the potential for more on that was greater than giving this all back, right? Because I'm not going to give all this back. I'm not going to give back 5. If I'm up, 5 on it, I'll give back half of that to see if we can get that push through to the downside. And like I said, if we do flush this, bounce off VWAP, bounce above here, we're probably going to get stopped out up here anyway. So I want to secure my profits. So big time. Securing some moves here, looking to get ourselves back to the green, being aggressive, starting our green back off right today. So that was really a good catch from the highs, using our levels, using our divergences, and then we got ticked out on one, but we were able to secure the ad, get a good flush, take one contract off, take another one off at there. So that's really just securing profits as we move to the downside. Very, very happy with that trade there. That trade all in all netted us 4, 5, 6, 750-ish. So 750 on that after being down 2. So we were down 2, took a 750 winner, up 565 on the day. Very, very nice. And see there, so we got that flush bounce. I trailed my stop above a liquidity zone there, and we would have been stopped out right there. So we definitely secured profits by moving our stop down above that zone. We are going to look to see if this does continue now to rotate, and I'm going to be aggressive again. Once again, looking to be aggressive on my sells here with these wicks. We're going to continue to push to the downside. I'm going to catch some of these moves. And now that we're positive, if we go back to even on the day or we're not going to go to negative. So that's what we're looking to do. There we go. Big move. Good move. Good catch there. Great grab from the overnight highs. Very happy with that move there. Like I said, that was about a $750 trade there, pushing us up about 565. You can see my bounce yesterday. I went from being up about $1,000 to being down $1,000. I had a really shitty. I've been very risk averse, trying to be tight with some of my stuff, and I haven't been securing profits as much as I should have been. So I didn't take the one trade that I should have. Not that I FOMO'd, but I kind of just played around in the chop when I wasn't able to get my moves. So now we're going to wait and see what we can get now. Looking to get another good setup at the highs maybe. If not, we'll look to get another catch to the... There's that push, right? So like I said, to have a target of VWAP, could I have just took the whole thing off right there, right then and there? Yes, I could have. However, we do sometimes get that flush, right? We get that flush of the VWAP like we had here. At that point, that's when I use that target as a trailing stop, right? If I get to my target, I want to allow it some breathing room. You're not going to bottom take every win, right? So if you do some trailing and you do some appropriate stuff, then you're going to be in good shape. I can't answer you, Ray, because my phone is charging over there, but I do see your charts. It's good stuff. Sucks that you're down a little bit before, I think you said. We love the micros. If you are still learning the trading futures and you're realistically, I mean, honestly, my account size right now with the drawdown today, I should have probably flipped over to micros. You don't want to be so over leveraged that a couple trades is going to blow up your account, right? Being funded so many times before, I kind of understand how much I can go before I have to switch to micros and then kind of grind out. If you're new to this, or if you have a little bit more of like you want to let these markets play a bit and you don't have that account size, switch over to micros. You could trade 1 to 3 micros and still make a couple $100 a day, even up to 5 micros. Even if you want to take a full mini, but you want to be able to shed and add and whatnot, you could take 10 micros at the high here. And you know, if I took 10 micros, let's call it here, you can't do it on Top Step because they have an equal number of micros to minis. But if you say have an AMP account, like I got an AMP brokerage account, you know, have a couple $1,000s in there. If you want to take 10 micros up here, you shed off, you shed off here, you shed off 5 maybe, you shed off 3 here. You still got two on to let this thing go, stop out at the high. So if you have 10 on, you could be able to leave your stop at the very, very top, wherever you have it, and say, hey, okay, if it breaks the high of the day, it breaks the high of the day, I'll lose, 2 of my 10 contracts, but at least I took off profits on the way down, secured that money, and then you can start to build that good habit until you build up your account. And then once you're trading multiple minis, that's when that, you see these people making $10, $15, $20, $35,000 a day on futures. And it's realistic, but it's really, it's really all based on account size, and you really need to be careful with that kind of stuff when you start to scale up. Right, you see me daily. Today I'm up 565. Yesterday I was down $2,000. Right, that 2,000 with minis can happen fast, especially if you start being a little, you're pussyfooting around your trades. Right, you can see how fast the Nasdaq moves. How much we just turned on a dime from VWAP at that level. VWAP has acted as it 2 times now. So we're above VWAP. These longs are going to come in until we get below VWAP and start using VWAP as resistance, right? So just be mindful of these zones. Take your profits as they get there. The first few trades of the day where I was looking to be aggressive and take them down, I did give this one back some, right? Because I wanted to see if that flush would play out better. If it doesn't, this one, the long, I wanted to see this thing push up through these highs and kind of continue. So, you trail out and you get stopped here, and then you get stopped here on an ad. So you're taking your little pieces, your $100, your break even, and then you finally get, you lose here. You didn't get your second ad on, but then finally, like realistically, in a perfect world, I wait for this next push up. But like I said, I've not been aggressive, and I've been getting a move like this, and then it rotates off and fails on me, and it goes my way. So I've been missing those trades by not being aggressive. So today I was being aggressive, but I'll take my little loss. I'll take that, because if it does run up, I don't want to blow the account or take an oversized loss, because then I would never have the opportunity to get in again on the next entry, right? So this entry right here, perfect setup. Slight delta divergence, super heavy tilt, like 80% long on these. So we're gonna see what we're going now. Nasdaq is only like about 50-50 long here. So this breakout here could now play out to be a little bit more of a true breakout to the high. So I'm less likely to take this early trade on it right here. But if it does do the same kind of setup, then I'm gonna look to take it short again, right down through that green line. If you look at the S&Ps, that's the wrong one. If you look at, this is this chart here. If you look at the S&P 30-minute, you can see you're grabbing liquidity here, come down. This is the opening range, right? Blue line to red line. Come down, ticket, run up. Come down, ticket, break the high, rotate back down. We're still playing with that 916 level, right? You can see the bodies are holding above 916. If you get that hold below 916 and rotate back down, this is a pretty big candle. There's probably not so much liquidity there. You could look to rotate that back down if it holds there and starts to break below that 949.12. Switching to the Nasdaq on the 30, you're slightly more bullish, right? These candles, it wicked down, came to this liquidity zone here, grabbed orders, ran to the high side, and now it's holding that wick to be more, the body of the candle is in that upper half, right? So coming in, 15 more minutes in this candle, if you're thinking that we're going to be short, you're going to kind of want to hold down below that 46.95 level on the 30 for like a more pronounced move, right? But that's where we've been coming down to on this chart here. You could see it there. I'm looking to see this do what it did here, maybe pull back, and then we get that whippy wick type candle here. Then we can rotate it back down lower, because now we're going to get a lower high on that move, and we're going to sort of wedge and range. Could we rotate and pull off this now? We could, but to me, with that lack of interest to push us through it, a short interest on it or a long interest on it, then it could be a more true move, a true breakout if we get a solid move, breakthrough 23. So if we break through 23 again here, look for the body of the candle to be more in line with this, right? Some sort of stronger candle that'll hold. If it does do that, then you can likely see this thing to continue to the upside, because you're going to get it to hold here, then you're going to get it to sit on top of this zone above that 723 level and look to push and break out above that 38. So that's what we want to see if you're looking for the true breakout and not the failure. But also that's what I'm looking for to see if it's not going to fail and take me to the downside, right? Because I want to see this thing, if I'm going to do the same type of trade, right, where I'm fading extremes, I want to see it do something like that again, where I can be more convinced that, if a strong candle comes up and then you get a failure of that's people getting stopped out, more people kind of running into that short. But you're getting that divergence here as well. Where we made these highs here, delta isn't even close to those highs now, and even trying to push through it, you're not getting it here. So a rotation through back to the lows here isn't out of the question, right? You're going to start to maybe wedge here, stay between these zones before they decide to break it out in either direction. So that's what I'm looking for. But realistically, I couldn't take this entry yet because I don't have that one last piece. And being up now 565, I'm one step closer to regaining my week and making up those stupid losses from yesterday and the day before. Even I was able to grind back. I was down 1,200 and I ground back to being positive 100. So it was a grind of a day yesterday and the day before. Today, more aggressive, securing profits, looking to be pretty strong with my decision making. That's really when I'm at my best. I'm gonna go to here. I'm gonna delete this one. Yes, create a new one. Create XFA leader. I didn't have this up before because I didn't have my top step accounts set up. 45, save, run it. Yeah. So if I take another trade, it's going to copy onto the combine. So see, you can see now we're probably going to just kind of fade and rotate, but nothing like that's going to give you a strong move to the downside like that, right? 1, 2, 3 minutes. That's how long that trade took. 3 minutes. Once we really triggered into our entry. If we start to accelerate now to the downside and then you crack here and then you use this and holds and then goes, then you're going to get a better move. So you could see what my thought process there was as far as this being a short and probably trying to catch it. I didn't take it because of that lack of that one more, and see, I didn't catch the move. Being aggressive here paid off, right? I stopped out once, was able to get in. Being standoffish a little bit on this, just purely based on I wanted to see this thing kind of try the highs one more time. That was just really my thought on it. We are likely to stay in this range here for the time being until markets try to make some sort of decision. We got 10 minutes to 10 o'clock. I could have took it because it's not within that 5-minute time frame where I'm trying to not trade at the 5 minutes to the top of the hour. So look at that. You're now creating this sort of wedge. So this wedge pattern, as much as we don't purely trade these types of patterns, you're getting this starting to become a thing, right? Bouncing there, bouncing there, bouncing there. So let's see, which end will it come down to where it maybe it's a fake breakout, rotate to the bottom end, fake breakdown. I've been noticing that a lot of times on these wedge plays, that first move is usually the fake out, and then it rotates back down, tries to stop some of those fake outs out, and then maybe runs to the upside, depending on the day, right? If we're going to be just range bound and choppy, this is not going to be a wedge. This is just going to break here, come to the high, rotate back down, break here, fake you out down there, and then it's just going to kind of fizzle and kind of not re-expand, but just you're going to kind of see it happen. If you're going to get a true breakout momentum type deal, you're going to break it on one of these touches, you're going to run up above one of these zones, and then you're going to hold that zone and run, right? Same thing on the bottom. You're going to break down this zone here, you break it down, come back up, hold it, and then rotate down to the next zone. Really, it's zone to zone. The wedges being in the middle of it sort of help us kind of get a little confluence on it. So like I said, I'm not normally a breakout, momentum breakout trader. However, if a move like this happens where it breaks out and holds and then starts to rally, then I could look to say that that's confluence for me to risk my downside risk, like limit my downside risk and carry it on to the next zone to the high end. Same thing on the bottom end. If we do break down and we hold, then I can continue on to the downside, right? That's really what I'm looking for there. I really am very happy with everything going on. So let's see. If anybody has any questions, comments, concerns, I am live on Tradecaster and on YouTube. Tradecaster, I will pop it into my YouTube stream here. You could click the link. It's also in the bio. Today is a good day for me. I launched a new company. It's in its soft launch right now, but if you're an early comer, it's Day Trading Coffee Company. You can click on the link. I have a link here. Let me get that, grab it for you. DayTradingCoffeeCompany.com. We are fueling traders one cup of coffee at a time. What I'm going to do with our orders, so we're breaking down the bottom of the wedge real quick before I go into Day Trading Coffee. See if this is a false breakdown or if it's going to be that momentum play where we break down, hold this zone here, and then rotate again. If it's going to be a failure, you're going to get a break. VWAP will probably hold, maybe get a wick off on it, and then we'll start to push back to the high side. At that point, you could possibly look to take that break of the high end as a pure breakout momentum play, but that's less likely, especially with everything kind of being dragged down here. Like Apple, if Apple does break down below 195.23, I think that's a key level, but it is holding. Microsoft holding highs, and NVIDIA kind of chopping around here a little bit, but possibly pushing up on the highs. So really, see if this is not a false breakdown here. This level holds, and you rotate back to the highs. And then you do get the breakout here, potentially looking to rotate us through this zone, but you got to watch the zones. The zones are important. You can't just take that pure breakout play and expect anything. But if you want to play a bounce play with some of these FANG names holding us up, or the Magnificent Seven they call them now, Microsoft and Apple, if you're going to expect Apple to be able to hold this 195 level, then you should be able to hold this zone here, bounce, and then look to really take off if it cracks that high there. So if you want to see that, so you're limiting your risk to the downside, right? Only at most like 50 ticks there to the bottom end of this zone, but you really want to see this kind of give you a hard wick break and a failure to pop back up, because Delta is sitting on that level there as well. Don't be afraid to head over to daytradingcoffeecompany.com. Check out the coffee, check out the merch. Oh, that's YouTube. I don't like that. Where would that take me? No, I don't want that. Delete this message. Delete it. Oh, I don't want to inspect it either. Just trying to get back to going on here? My trade catcher's a little funky. I messed it up. So there's that failure of that push down. You could possibly limit your risk here, like I said, to the downside by setting your stop below here, and then you rotate back to the highs with some of these other names playing along. Apple isn't, but Microsoft and Nvidia are, right? Nvidia is not. Microsoft is, which is the largest of the market cap in the Nasdaq. It's holding up there at those highs, but if it does break down, then you have some confidence for that breakdown. Apple needs to hold 195. If you expect that 195, 23, 25 level to hold and bounce, then this could be a good bounce play here. There we go. That's what I wanted to do. Back to, if you're going to take a bounce play here, you want to see those names play out. It is a decent area where the failed breakdown happened. You could at least, catch a small piece if you don't expect it to break above, right? I'm not aggressive on this type of play. I'm more aggressive on fading an extreme. A failed breakdown on this does make sense. It is a good play here. You could get in early. This could be your early entry on a breakout from this, which is great for risk to reward, right? Like I said, you could limit your risk to the low of here, have your entry back in above there. You're only risking $200 on a full contract. Then you can rotate back to the highs and beyond. That's if you expect all of these other names right here, Apple to hold that level, which looks like it is, and Microsoft to continue to break highs. Nvidia will likely play along, but it's really more in a chop area. It's broken out above 600, so it's in this zone where it's still kind of trying to understand its value, I believe. Apple playing along with the bounce, so that bounce did play out, right? You're at least up 1-to-1 on your risk for this failed breakdown using your liquidity zone. Rotate back to the high of this wedge, and then if you do get the breakout of the wedge, if you're into adding contracts, you could possibly add one, or if you want to just start trailing your profits, you could start trailing it here, and then be mindful of the true breakout point, which is that overnight high and that liquidity zone, right? So for me, up 565. Like I said, I'm going to try and be aggressive on the day. I'm not trying to give a lot back. At the same time, I'm also trying to take some of these really good entries. I would have liked to have taken this one. However, that's just not 100% type of a move that I'm looking to grab there. I'm like if it was coming up to the high and doing the same thing up there, then maybe I would have done that. We'll see if this is going to hold the wedge, or if we're going to get that now breakout to the high side, stop some people out here, and then maybe rotate back down. Or if it's going to be that pure continuation off of our liquidity zone here, bounce, 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 get some shorts involved, bring them out, stop them out, and then finally rotate to your highs. You do have your S&Ps. The wick that bottom once again. It touched that bottom, and now it's trying to rotate. If this body can hold above that 49.16, you're still bullish. And for us, this body of this candle is still well up here. There's 33 seconds in the close here, so the Nasdaq is more bullish than the S&Ps. But if this 30-minute candle closes below here, which is very likely to do with 20 seconds remaining, the S&Ps may drag us down further. So if you are in this bounce play, be mindful that the top break of this wedge could be a false breakout because the S&Ps have been carrying us down for the rest of the day. So if you're looking to take this breakout, be mindful of that. It's kind of slowed down. We're at that 10 o'clock time frame. We might get that wick speed up here. You may get there, but this could just fail from here and now rotate back down just because of the way the S&Ps closed. You're seeing that now, right? Apple did not quite make it up there, and Microsoft is failing its highs. So this could carry us down now. So could this be the real breakdown? We're still in this wedge. Obviously, it's playing out pretty close, pretty accurately, right to the tick. Like I said, if you were in there and the S&Ps were closing at that bottom, to secure profits on that, or if it was going to break out, then trail your stop right there. You don't want to take that full risk on this being the breakdown. So I possibly look to short this market based off of the S&Ps pushing down, and now the Nasdaq looking to break down from that 695 level. 695 has been important for the last few days, so if you do break that down, then that could be your real move there. So I might be aggressive on a short if we can continue to the downside here. I'm going to try it. I'm going to give it a shot. Let's see. See what we can do here. We'll risk to there. See if we can continue this to the downside now that we've broken down, retested that top end. Now we're breaking the bottom end of the wedge once again. Let's see if that was just a stop run or if this is actually going to truly move to the downside. 695 was the key line in the sand there. So we're below it. We're holding it. There we go. Let's see if we get the VWAP again. If we do get the VWAP again, we want to see if it'll flush and then now be the final break of it. Looking to secure some of this. We got to break the low of the opening range. If we don't do that, then this could rip to the high side. So just be mindful of that. S&P's also pushing the bottom of the opening range and now looking to flush. It was in a bearish. That 30 minutes pushing to the downside really is interesting, right? I want this thing to kind of now break its breakdown, right? At 10 o'clock, London's closed. Let's see. Can we rotate down more? Push down to VWAP, break it down, break through that 76, right? That tick that we had at 76.25. I didn't draw that line up today. That's been there, right? So we want to see that thing crack. If that cracks, then that's when we're going to get a really good move to downside. Like we did before, we did have that breakdown, and then we didn't quite follow through further. We got to that liquidity zone below. So we're looking to see if we can get down below here, get down to VWAP, get down to that 76.25 level, and move from there. I'm trying to get a reason to put this stop here at break even. S&Ps are trying to hold their opening range low, but it's not quite doing that. I have my stop well up here right now. I'm just really trying to mitigate my losses here. I don't want this thing to skyrocket on me and take me out. So I'm trying to just secure base hit. But this idea here of being aggressive on the short on a breakdown is more likely to me. So I want it to play out a bit less of a base hit, more of a double here. I want to hit a double through VWAP. Put a ball in the gap and put a hustle double out there. We are not following through, but we are holding below 65. 65 is now not holding. It's holding the high. Alrighty. If it does go below that previous candle again, then we're going to go to break even, and then I'm going to just let it do what it's going to do. I don't want to lose any money on this if it does break that bottom of the opening range. So we got to break that opening range low, and I'll move my stop to stop break even. It's just playing with it. It's playing with it. It's playing with it. I don't want to get wicked out and then it run on me, because this is a good entry for me to crack the bottom of this wedge twice. It's more convincing. I'm going to leave it there now. If we get wicked out, we get wicked out. I just think that this break of this opening range should happen now, and if it doesn't, then we're going to get a solid bounce, stop us out for something well more than we want to be stopped out for. So reasonably, this should break this level now, get to VWAP. See, like it didn't, it held, and now we are back above 64, approaching 65s. I didn't want to get out, be involved in that if it's going to do that, right? So I'm out on that. I didn't get the follow through I wanted in the time frame. I'm being aggressive. I'm securing my stop losses. S&P's holding that low, and Nasdaq's trying to hold that 65. And if it bounces through that 65, that could be your indication that we're going to look to see this longer. But if we do break that low, that's where you're going to get that flush. So be mindful of that if that's where you're looking for a little more confluence in it, a little more of a, well, we can probably break this here. If we do break below the 681, they're grabbing that liquidity there. Maybe we can catch this momentum play breakdown there. Stop above here. Let's see. Will it break now? Break it. We could break this down here, but it's holding. But we are getting lower high. It can't break and hold above 65. 695s. I keep saying 65s. 695 is that where the bodies of those candles needed to hold above, right? So now look at, we're pushing above. We've held this level now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I have a sell stop here, because if it does break it, it should break it with some gusto, like it did over here, right? We broke down and then we rolled over. if we're getting heavy here, we're going to remain heavy. After 10 o'clock, a lot of like the moves tend to happen and they tend to kind of just follow through and rotate for the rest of the day. But we're going to see what happens. 695 pushing back up. You do have that high volume node here at 700. It's key psychological level. If it does get back above and into this little part of the wedge where we've broken down from it and we used that previous support, previous resistance of the top of the wedge and rotate back down, then maybe that's when you get your move to the downside. Markets have been heavier, really haven't given you any reason to say that we're going to break the highs again, right? We got there again, failed it, got lower high again. Like we were talking about, we were trying to possibly rotate back to the low of the overnight session, or at least the wick of the 7:30 a.m. candle there. So if you're not fueled up, focused, maybe you need some day trading coffee company coffee. Bullish on caffeination here. Beautiful 15-ounce mug here that you can get in 3 different colors. So there we are. We're back above 700, possibly looking to reject that end there, but it does look like another liquidity grab to the downside in these 30-minute candles, right? If you got the S&Ps, another failure of that breakdown. If it rotates and holds above 916, you should look to see if this thing will rotate now back to the highs. Same thing with the NASDAQ. You got that 695 level. We broke down, broke up. We held above it. And now this 30-minute candle broke down, did not hold below it, and now it's looking to rotate back to the high. So look for this to possibly be that move to the high side if we can hold these levels. I canceled my sell order there. You can see why I got out of this at break even when I did, right? Because of the failure to break down and follow through. Like I said, if it was going to move, it was going to do it fast and it was going to have some momentum. If it's just going to accept orders here, bang, 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 and rotate to the high side, then that's what it's going to do, right? We don't want to play around with that kind of move. We don't want to lose this full loss here. Huge. It's an outsized, oversized loss. For something, if you're risking 150 on this, above 695, do you want to accept that loss, possibly to get that breakdown? But really, I didn't see that with the price action the way it was doing it. So if we fail 700 here, maybe we can get that thing to rotate back to the downside now that we've tried to grab that liquidity and push up. So this, I just talk through it every day, all my trades, all the time, live. I hope everybody that does watch or gets involved in any of my trades just has the ability to think through things the way I think through them. Some of them I execute, some of them I don't. You could see why I kind of talk myself in or out of a trade. Like I said, today to start the stream, I was going to be aggressive on the day because I've been a pussy the last few weeks on kind of not taking certain setups that I would be sort of aggressive on in the past, which I would profit on. I've been waiting for that extra little confluence, and it's been holding me out of some of the good ones. And then by the time I wait for that extra confluence, I'm in a chop zone, and I'm not in my area of where I want to strike. So I've been kind of messing up with those. But today we were aggressive. We took a quick loss on a breakdown, which is fine. Then we took another one. We got a small win on it. We secured back, pretty much back to break even. We were aggressive on the long. We took a little piece of that. Then we tried to get aggressive at the overnight high, right? I got aggressive here because last time I didn't. We got a move like this, right? Didn't get the extra confluence, and we sold right off. I was expecting something like that to happen, so I took the short, had an ad below here, didn't get triggered on the ad, got ticked out at the very top. Once I saw that happen, we got the divergences that we like. I set my entry below the overnight high. Could have been aggressive on it up here. I'm not that aggressive, right? Trying to get in below the value area high. But we had an ad. We got on it. We took that ad off, and then we took our profit here once we came down to VWAP. We trailed here just in case we were going to get that full rotation to the overnight low, right? That's why we trailed here. Gave back a little bit. We didn't give back all of it. We took a nice little piece there. That was like a $750 trade, $760 plus. So we went from down 200 to up 565. Then we just took this little one there, trying to get that follow through. Did not get it. So we're up about 590 on the day. Yeah, trying to grind ourselves back up, right? It's a nice little rebound day. so far. So we're doing pretty good. I'm looking to be aggressive. I can only trade till 11 today. I do have work. So we are up 590 so far. I like to adjust my little title of my stream as it's going, just in case people want to see what's going on and check and see. Any questions, concerns, comments in the Tradecaster community, you can always type it in the chat. I will respond there and here. Anything in YouTube, you could always type it in. If you're on YouTube and you are a trader, and you're not my mom, then go over to Tradecaster and check it out. It's free trial, 7-day free trial. And then after that, you don't get charged unless you put your, you pay for it. I will be a free streamer on there. We have tons of good streamers. I'm not playing in this right now. This is a little choppy for me. I don't want to get involved yet. You could look to see if this break above 700 will go, but I'm not taking that trade right now. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Tradecaster, trying to get you over there. If you feel so inclined after the 7-day trial that you like everything that's going on over there and you want to pay for it, cool. I'm going to show you what we got going on. Tradecaster is over here. We got all these lobbies. Everybody here is trading live. Everybody here trades something different. Like me, I'm a futures trader. You got AK-47. He's just a regular stock guy, active trader, live his options. You got Dekmar, who's the head honcho here. He's not only on, but he's on a skiing vacation with some of the Tradecaster members, which is pretty cool. He does offer that out in Utah. So you got all these great lobbies that you can come in, check out. You don't have to use my stream all the time, especially a lot of days where I'm not being aggressive. I'm being a little sit on my hands. I'm talking market fundamentals, or I'm talking about coffee, daytradingcoffeeco.com. Link is in the YouTube and on the Tradecaster. If you do go over there and order, I may give you or even sign up for the newsletter, I'll send you a free shipping code for your first order. So, there's a little benefit to there being on these streams. So you got Dekmar, you got all these people. If I'm boring, or if you want to go over to stocks for a day and get out of the futures, or you trade multiple things, then look to see. You can see this breakout happening. So I'm talking about both things at the same time, but you can see this breakout happening if you're watching the chart, looking to push that that overnight high again. But over here, you come into the lobbies. This is my lobby. You got your stream going on here, right? We're live. We're talking about me. We have our chat. I have chat with people talking. We got alerts. I alert everything, all my levels for the previous day, previous night. I got a chart here for you so you can watch and monitor stuff without getting out of the stream. You got your economic calendar, a little breakdown. And then up here, I got some of my stream info. This will change periodically. I'll update, if I'm going to do something for the next week, or if I'm going to put out a discount code for the coffee company, I'll pop it in there or something like that, just so everybody can be mindful. But I don't close my lobby down. It's always open. Maybe the stream's not going live, but you can always chat in here. I'll come in, check periodically throughout the day and night, especially when I'm at work. I do have a day job. You could possibly guess it by what my name is. But, that's what we got to do to continue to make money, right? It would be great to be doing this full time, but, we'll just start somewhere. So we're here. We're back at the charts and see how we can set up. I'm glad that everybody's here. If you didn't check out Tradecaster yet, it's always cool to head over there. Like I said, 7-day free trial. If you go over there, create a username, hop into my stream, subscribe, like it, do whatever you got to do. And like I said, after the 7 days is up, if you pay for it, if you don't like it, that's cool. But it'll always be free for you to come into the free lobbies such as mine. And like I said, there's a few other free lobbies in there. If we get too big, too fast, we might have to become a paid lobby. But really, that means I'm providing you a lot of value. And one good trade here could make you up your membership and then some. So look into try and build a community over there. It's for traders, by traders. It's good stuff. I am, like I said, in the coffee business. So here's my website over here, daytradingcoffeecompany.com. Just making sure it's up on the screen. It is. So daytradingcoffeecompany.com. Head over that. We have a roast for everybody, freshly roasted upon order. Every time you order it, 10% of all of my profits are going to go to a funding fund. So underfunded traders, I'm going to try and provide either combines or something that's going to give back to the trading community. So every order that you make, if you're a trader, join the subscribe send your email in. If you go over to contact us and you want to be involved, if you didn't place an order yet and you want to ask us any questions, you could always send me an email. I will respond. We'll figure out a way to get you involved. You don't have to buy stuff to be involved in that. It will probably increase your chances, right? If you buy some coffees, you add your screen name in there, your username or your email, and then we'll be able to send over some codes, free shipping, all that stuff, and then also get you, if you are a trader. If you're not a trader and you're just watching on YouTube and you're hanging out, then that's cool. You can still buy the coffee. It's still coffee for everybody. I just noticed that there was a lack of community for day traders for coffee. So we have all these roasts, and then we also have our clothing line here with our mug, which we got right here. I got a hoodie, I got a tumbler, anything that you could want. And hey, we do trade futures here, so we got the Future of Coffee t-shirt, pretty neat. I'm going to be running a pre-sale on hats. It's a custom hat that from Timber and Hide Company. It's a company a buddy of mine owns, and it's a really cool hat with the nice leather patch and everything like that, but I'm going to do that a little bit later on. So today, we've done a soft opening this week on the company. The website is live. It's in the chat. It's in all of the streaming software, so go over there and check it out. Back to the charts. We're back to these highs. Let's see if we can rotate back down. Maybe take a fake breakout again. Like I said, with this trade here, you could have taken this long here, right, on the first break of the wedge, fake breakout, look to rotate. This gets you to 10 o'clock. As we approach 10 o'clock with all these other equities rolling over, you needed to kind of, and then also with S&Ps pushing to the downside, I pretty much said you got to cut it here or trail it if it breaks out. So that would have been an okay win there for you. Then down here, I took a short looking to see if we could break. We didn't get the breakdown. And once you don't get the breakdown there, it should tell you that we're in a liquidity grab. You pushed up, you pushed back down to our zone here. You get a delta divergence, start to build delta, then you crack here at 700, you're off to the races to the high side. But now we're at this other end of the zone. So not necessarily a wedge. We're now back into our zone. So the wedge pattern type play is done, right? That's not necessarily useful, but potentially this bottom end after the trend line could be useful, right? If it's a false breakdown of that, break it back above. If that's what you're using as a breakout push, then that, maybe you use that for later on. But for me, that's not what I'm looking at. I'm looking at these zones. Now we're looking for a delta divergence. We're looking for another hard wick up above without holding. However, right, like I'm using other confluences, S&Ps are holding 49.1650, right? That level there has been kind of holding us above. If we hold above it, then likely the NASDAQ, also who wicked that 695 level, is potentially looking to crack above our level that we're at now at the 23s and go up into at least the high of the day before it makes another decision, right? Just because of the way that those 30-minute candles are building, and then you get this lower high, you grabbed a lot of liquidity out of this zone and you're pushing up to these highs, right? So overall, look to see what happens at this level, right? If we're going to stay range bound, then you could possibly just rotate it back, but I'm looking for one more good confluence on this one, right? Just based on the way price action acted from 10 o'clock on to now. I can't say that this is a high confidence short. We can continue hammering this level, right? Hammering it until it doesn't work anymore, but you're risking more of your day than you would like to, right? I don't want to give a full loss back right now, although that was a nice little push to the downside there. Could potentially now roll over again, right? We're just staying within this range. This could be the actual move, right? Or it could be, right below, stop these people out. Grab some longs again from the high end of this part of this range, right? This liquidity zone here. Because you can see a lot of orders there. A lot of the orders there at 700. Volume node. If we get through this volume node, possibly rotate to that 700 volume node sort of quickly. But if this is just a liquidity grab, right, grabbing some orders at 710 to rip us back to the high side, you might want to take the long through the high here just at least to get to that 38s and then beyond. just based on everything. And then the NASDAQ and Microsoft pushing, and Apple has now approached the highs again. Will it rotate back down or not? And then Microsoft, highest weighted in that NASDAQ basket. Let's see what Tesla looks like after its guidance from yesterday. It's, still selling off. You can see what happened after earnings. Really kind of just beaten down based on their competition in China and their lack of forward guidance. So Tesla is also dragging us down, but not as much. Tesla tends to do its own thing. I don't know why a lot of times it does that, but Tesla is its own world. Microsoft, Apple, and Nvidia have been just carrying this market, right? So we're looking to possibly break out from the highs if some of these can play along. So look at that push. This could be your real breakout now that you grab that liquidity below. Possibly look to take that long just to see what happens. Why not? Let's give it a shot. Just pure momentum break on this. If we do break the high here again, I'm going to move quick to break even because I don't like being involved in these at my extremes. But I'm using the momentum from all the other assets, like the S&Ps, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, trying to get to their highs. That's what I'm trying to play off of here. But if we rotate back down, it is what it is. I'm going to get stopped out. Do I want to add above the high there too? That's interesting. I'm going to just play one contract here, and then hopefully it does crack the highs, and then we can rotate up to 38s again. Then at 38s, that's when I can possibly look for another short. But I'm being aggressive, like I said today, using some of these other confluences to give me so this time is not the time that it wants to rotate. Maybe it's the time that it wants to break out from our little range here. And if it does, then we're going to be in good shape. So if we break above that, the high end of this little yellow zone here that I got, then I'll pop my stop here to just below it at 720. However, we might want to do that now and just get out of this and risk just $100 on it. I don't know if this wants to roll over or not. It looks like it does. There it goes, getting heavy. So we're getting heavy here. I'm going to get stopped out. Yeah, we're stopped out on that, flatten that. So our short plan at the overnight high, this being a rotational day, is still working on it. I do like that there. Now we're up for 15 on the day. I'll take one more shot at that type of breakout if we do get there again, because Apple is rallying. I think that's just going to carry us a bit. I'm going to give one more shot at it if we do get through it, because I think we should be able to get a little bit of a momentum play there. Yeah, let's see. Apple, Microsoft, you want to play along as well? Microsoft kind of just basing, and Nvidia just looking to pop. I think Nvidia wants to pop. That's all-time highs there. Do I think we get to that? I don't think so necessarily, but if we can break above our zone here, you always see me. I'll take a second shot at it. It's not that it's invalidated. It's just I take quick stops. Or Delta's kind of pushing to the downside, but we're not totally breaking hard to the bottom end. So maybe if we do grab that liquidity again at 710, push back up, right back through there, and then we could limit our risk to the downside even more if we can do that. But it seems like it might want to take that rally here and go with it. We do need to break above the opening range high. I think we want to go green for the day. Something about it, but we are getting that delta divergence, not quite pushing up. If it ticks us in and gets us out, we still are only risking about 150 on the trade, maybe a little bit more. If we do that, then we're going to probably not take that long anymore. 2 times at it, it's fine. I'm just looking to see if we can catch this little bit of a move here. Try to get to 38s. If we can get to 38s, look to see if we can break above it. You know, break the high of the day. And then the break of the high of the day could give you that whippy action. That's why I put this take profit up there at that high. Not quite the all-time high, but the high of yesterday around 9:30. It was the initial sell-off point, and we haven't quite got back to there yet. Mm-mm. 60% long, not really heavy long. The best long was down here. I'm really looking to see if this will just give me that one quick pop. I'm not looking to get a huge move out of it, but I do like the idea of this getting out of our little wedge range here. But potentially, if that's where it's going to stay all day, that's what it's going to do. Now, NVIDIA is rolling over. Microsoft is as well, and Apple is kind of trying to fail those highs. So maybe that is a rotation to the downside. So let's flatten it. No, 710 still holding. If 710 breaks, then we're going to wait. 710 holds, I'm saying. I'm sorry. 710 holds. We're staying in. Let's do this. $722. Yeah, this has been that line in the sand for a while. Delta's starting to build. Delta's starting to build. Delta's starting to build. Let's see if we can get this thing to pop through this level. If it does pop here, we should hopefully not return back to this level here at 715, 710. Stops are there. Stops are tight. If it does get a good breakout, if we get quick right above our yellow zone, I'm going to go to break even kind of quickly and limit my risk to the downside. I'm going to go to 720 if we get above the zone. But it looks like we're still trying to just grab liquidity and go. But like I said, the S&P is pushing to the high side and holding above that opening range. So I think we could get the S&Ps back to 49.24. And if we do that, then the NASDAQ should push the highs. Apple push it to the limit. Microsoft also at the bottom end of the butt looking to break, and NVIDIA grabs some orders at the bottom and possibly is looking to push up now too. So if we can get a pop on any of those three to just really give us that first little move out and then beyond, like I said, I think that the breakout of this little wedge pattern here came back, base, look to break out again, push to the high, then you want to see what happens at 738. So we're in again. If it's going to fail again, it's going to fail again. It's going to rotate hard to the downside. So let's see what happens. Like I said, if we do wick above that previous high there, we're going to go right down to 720 just because I want to limit my risk if it's going to wick and then roll over hard, right? I want to be up in here. But if it does break and then do it with some pop, then this is going to be a good stop for me because that's where it's going to rotate back down to get us out of the trade. It's holding the overnight high, holding the overnight high, holding the overnight high. Possibly look to get this delta pushing us up, push us up, push us up, push, 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 push. There we go. That's a wiki candle. All right, we're above the high now, and we're going to be at 721.50 with our stop. If it does want to rotate back to the downside, I don't want to be stopped out for more than that. 721 below our zone because this is the liquidity zone, right? If it's going to break out, it's going to break out from here. I'm not a momentum breakout trader by any means. This is hard for me to do, but realistically, the way price action's been working, that's where I want to be, and I want to be stopped out fast. I don't want to be a failed breakout, fails hard, fails fast. So like that. You see that wick? That's going to fail. This is going to rotate us to the downside, isn't it? That was sell orders. That was a decent sized sell order there. So if we don't get back above that kind of quick, this is going to push to the downside pretty hard, pretty fast, and we're going to be out now, right?
You see that NVIDIA rolling over, Microsoft, and Apple also looking to roll over. So, boom, that's our sell signal there. We're going to sell that. We're going to fade our highs. Yeah. If I could have flipped that really quick, that would have been nice. That was another liquidity grab there, fucking speeding up. I want to see this down to that 15s, right? Down into these wicks there. Usually the failures fail hard, fail fast, so possibly not going to fail us now. Risking really tight on this. Seems like we want to just kind of rotate through these two zones for the rest of the day. So I like it. I'm going to try and hold it. There we go. We are at break even on this for the most part. There we go. Because if we don't get the follow through now, then we're not going to get it at all. Boom. We're moving to the downside. Now we're going to get liquidity. We're out. We're stopped out there. We're still up 330 on the day. Did not like that. Did not like it at all. The choppiness. So we are continuing on. Continuing on. We have 30 minutes left in the stream. Let's see what else we could get before we get off. Okay. Are we going to push to the upside here now? Once again, looking to see what happens with these orders here. Apple failing, but not quite. Microsoft still just basing out, possibly looking to break. And NVIDIA also breaking out there. So possibly, let's see. Let's get it to break above. Come on, one more push. One more push. One more push. Let's go down. We're selling that bad boy here. Once again, let's see if we get this actual push down. Let's go. Come on, baby. Push us to the downside. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's see. Let's see, baby. Come on now. Hold that 15. Hold it now. There we go. Come on. Push us to the downside. Get through 10s. If we can get through 10s, we should rotate all the way back down. Get through 10s. Get through the 10s. Get through this liquidity here. And now we should pour in some selling if we do get that. I'm quick with the stop loss. You can see it. I don't want to be tickled into this and ripped to the upside. But if we do get ticked out, it's fine. Also fine. Yep. So we're out again. Once again, we're up 345. Being aggressive. If that's just a liquidity grab, I'm okay with trying to get that thing to push us to the upside again, right? That pushed down pretty hard, but also ended up just not doing a lot of follow through, right? So I'm willing to flip this back to the long to see if this will be the catch. One of these will be the right move. So if it is, I want to be involved in it because this is where prices, I'm getting involved in chop a bit, but I'm looking to kind of catch the break in a direction that we want to get it to go. But if it's going to do this all day, I'm going to get stopped. So I don't want to do it too many times. This should give us a breakout if we get it to go. Because look at NVIDIA just wedging out. So if NVIDIA can pop, then we could get this thing to go pretty hard. S&P is still holding the highs here above this last previous 30-minute candle. NASDAQ still just waiting to break it. If it doesn't break it, then we're going to rotate back down. I needed this to break the 10s to rotate to the downside, which it doesn't seem like it wanted to do. We've got a strong buy. We're on the buy end of this little pattern, right? Higher low, push. We're at the highs here, looking to break it above, right? I'm not currently in, but I have an order set to break out above the overnight high. We are up 3 45-ish on the day. We were up about almost 6, but we took just 2 paper cuts here, looking to see if we can get one of these moves to play out. So if we can break out here above this high and then into above these 727, then we should be able to get up into that 38 level and beyond. So that's what I'm looking to take. We have been range bound all day, so one of these breakouts should play as far as where we're at. So I'm usually a range bound trader, fade extremes, right? Looking to take shorts off of levels and longs off the other levels. Right now, I've been kind of messing around with this level. Right, I have a buy order above. I'm looking to go long, and I'm not normally a breakout trader, but I'm looking to see if this will carry us through to the upside, based on like Nvidia and Microsoft and Apple still trying to push highs, and just based on the price action before not breaking down and holding those lows. So Apple looking to push up to highs. We should get triggered in. There we are. We're triggered in on the high here. So let's see if we can break out. If we do not break out on this little push up here, then we are going to stop trying to go long for a little while. But this could be the point where we're going to get that breakout. If we break above 27s here, then we should be in good shape. Where we go, we're above there. We shouldn't come back down into the 20s if we're going to continue on. If we do continue, if we get down to the 20s, then we're probably going to be rolling over pretty hard. So like I said, we need to see this thing break and hold above that 27. I'm going to be very, very tight with it. I'm looking to not get run over on a elevator to the downside. So I am break even pretty quick on this kind of trade. If I'm going to get a breakout on that, I want that thing to go right there, right then. It didn't do it, so we're still looking. You know, it might go right now. It's fine. If it does, I'm just not. That's not how I play my trades as far as breakouts are concerned. Usually those things tend to fail on me, and then I get involved, and I get long, and it screws me over. So realistically, I want to get now short because the breakout didn't happen. It's going to kind of give me a confluence to try and get myself down. But Apple did break out, so I'm going to be careful with this also. We stream to 11. I'm using zones and levels, and I flip-flop sometimes on my direction. I actually don't like this at all. I'm not taking that short. I've been not being aggressive over the past week and kind of dug myself a hole, but this week, today, I'm trying to be more aggressive, trying to get into trades, trying to get out pretty quickly. All right. So here we are, getting down to the 20s. Now we're building that lower high, higher lows. Could the breakout happen now? Possibly, but I'm looking to see if it'll rotate down now. I'm going to take the short here, from here, risk to the high, and now I want to see if this thing, since we failed to break out 3-4 times, possibly now get that breakdown below the 10s. If we can get that breakdown below the 10s right here, break through 15s first, obviously, that's that spot, but the 10s is really that key to this. You can see all this liquidity there. So if we can get down to 15, I'm going to go to break even, and then hopefully we can get the follow through 10s. If this is going to go long, it's probably going to fail sort of quickly here and get us back above this overnight high, which it looks like it wants to kind of keep pushing down, trying to grab more liquidity down there at the 15s. So, and that was a pretty quick whippy candle there. Looking to be aggressive on my shorts, just because I didn't get the follow through on the delta that I wanted to at those highs for a breakout. Didn't get the breakout to happen fast, so usually if a hard breakout doesn't happen at a level, I'm going to look for a failure at that zone and try and look to take the opposite of that play. If 15s don't break here, then I want to be stopped out. There's the 15s where I break even. If it's going to be a liquidity grab, it's going to pop off, stop me out. But I want to be involved if it does break. And it looks like it wants to stop me out, but it's still pushing hard to the downside there. Those are some pretty strong pushes, but it's also getting rejected, right? Rejection, 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 rejection. Push us to the downside this time. Why not? Why not? You know, be involved, have my stop in there. It might be a little too tight, too quick, just based on this price action, trying to push to the downside, but we're out now. Flat, again, still up 360 on the day. This is just more chop. I'm trying to get involved in short and long. That's why I'm super tight with my stop, because we're in this area where it's still not able to make a decision. Got to use some of these other confluences, like Apple's still breaking highs, Microsoft still looking pushing to the downside, and Nvidia also pushing to the downside with a little more acceleration too at this point. So if Apple fails its highs, then we should be able to push down just based on the other two. Nope, that's not it. Microsoft breaking down a bit. So Profit Trader, I don't know if you heard any of the what I was talking about, but yeah, I use zones. I've been fading this high all day. We got back to here now, and we thought based on these momentum type deal where we tried to break out, we broke out, we came to the highs, and then we were looking to possibly break out from there. We did not. So we're really just stuck within this range here. We've profited on it for the day. Yeah, okay, cool. Got you. So there's the breakdown now. We're at the 10s. If this is going to be an actual breakdown, we should flush it. We did get stopped out here for that little bit of break even of a trade. I just didn't like that way that 15s were acting within this range. If this is just going to be another liquidity grab to try and pop us to the high side, then it'll fail 10s and rotate back up. No, I'm not in the short now. I'm out. I'm flat right now. I was in on the short and I stopped myself out because I didn't like the way price was bouncing off of 15. For it to flush now is pretty, we're at this point right here. We could flush and rotate back to this downside. There you go. Right? Once you broke that 710, you do get that rotation to the downside. So cost myself a little bit by being a little tight on that one, but realistically, just the way price has been building up, coming off of these lows, looking to go to the highs, I didn't want to give anything back on that. Right? We're still up on the day. We're up 330 on the day, 360 on the day. After a day like yesterday, where I was down 2K, that's a kind of a killer type day. So we're kind of just trying to grind back. Here we right here, right now. Like I said, up. So we took a really good trade here. We did a couple, we did like a paper cut, up, back, up, even, down 2 on this, getting stopped down. Then we took our really good trade there. So looking to get one more of those before 11, which would probably be right here that I'd missed, or I didn't miss. I stopped myself out on it quickly. But 710 is that line in the sand. So if we do run back above it, then it possibly is looking to go long. But it could be aggressive on the short here now and look to rotate it back down as the S&Ps are pushing to the downside. Microsoft also is breaking down, and it looks like Apple is just sitting at the highs. Nvidia kind of just sitting at a spot where it was grabbing liquidity before. S&P's trying to hold that 49.16 level. That's been pretty important over the last few days, so we'll see what that happens. Apple's still holding the highs, so could hold us up. I am a scalper pretty much through and through. Like this trade was 3 minutes, $750. This one, you could see how in and out, on break even, small loss, small win. I'm looking to catch bigger moves. If I can add into a trade like I did here, I try to trail out I did one entry, had a second add, took off one contract at a key structure level, and then I tried to trail out so I can secure more of those profits. So if I'm in multiple contracts, you'll see me hold a lot longer because I'll have one secured and then I'm able to let one trail. I would love to trail it all day, but realistically, you're getting a lot of bounces, a lot of chop within the NASDAQ especially. So we are getting a little delta divergence here. We're pushing back up, not getting that push back up. We're actually getting a negative delta here. So I want to see if we can get the tilt up there to heavier long, then we possibly could see if this thing will rotate back down from here. But if we get back above those highs, that could be, so this would be getting shorts involved to now get long. So just be mindful of that, especially in a chop kind of day. So that's why I didn't like that 715. But really, if I could have got down to 10s and flushed the 10s, I would have been trailed at 10s and been out there. So we're going to look to see. Maybe this will take us to the high side once again. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to take a piss. So my trading works when I am aggressive, when I do take the executions that I see and run with them. So I need to continue that. That's what I did today. I'm not trying to make back what I lost yesterday, but I'm trying to be more aggressive on it and take my shots. So I'm going to take this long here, based purely on this being a stop out liquidity grab run. And if it does break out here, I want to be involved slightly early, just above the overnight high, and run this thing to the high side. Hopefully that's how that's going to work. If not, then I'm going to be, we got Apple and Microsoft trying to bounce here. Apple ripping highs, Microsoft trying to bounce. So if that's just going to get me in and rip us short, then fuck it, whatever, we're out. But if it's going to break out, it should break out here and try and at least stop out some of those highs there. But we look like we're going to get stopped out here. Super quick stops, right? I have very tight stops. Okay, find that. I'm going to be above here. This should be the breakout. Like, I didn't want to get stopped there, but I really didn't want to get run over to the downside. I will add to this one too. Okay, we're in on 2 here. There you go. There's that breakout that we were expecting. In on 2. We're looking to get out of 1 there. We're out of 1 now. And now we're going to trail this stop to be break even and see how far we can go, right? We're looking to see if we can catch this thing to move further to the upside on a nice breakout of 38. 38 would be the break point. If not, we don't get there. We roll over. We get stopped out. It is what it is. But we did secure one of our adds, right? So we added on the breakout of the high. If we want this thing to continue on to the upside, we should see it to push now. I do like the breakout here. That's why I was playing it based on purely this being a liquidity grab to the downside. If there's a false breakout, then so be it. Then we'll get stopped out here. So that's how I make my plays here. I get wicked, I stop out quick because I don't want to get run over by a train. And then the ones that I do get in on, I want to get in. I want to add them. I want to get some of it off kind of quickly. And then I want to continue to push through and trail this thing. I needed to get to 38 before I do move my trail to the value area high. If we do get through 38 with some gusto, then I'm going to move it right to 38 and secure some of that profit as well. So we're going to get right here below. We're right pretty much at that level. So I'm below this candle. If it does wick and then roll over, then I'm out. That's fine. I'll take that money and run. But if we do break out here from 38s, we have up to those highs from yesterday. But we might not get there. We might roll over here. It is a strong move, though, right? You could tell based on the delta, based on the way that price broke, got us into our ad, got us out of our first off, and there we go. We're broke up to the upside. I'm going to be here now with my stop. Let's see if we can trail this thing out, get some more profits. If it does want to wick that high there and then come back in, then it is what it is. But I want to continue to trail this by candle and secure as much of this move as possible. So there we go. We're holding above that high of the day. Hopefully we can get now a breakout of the high and rotate all the way up. If we could go up to here, it'd be fantastic. That'd be a hell of a winner to close out the day with my trade. I mean, even if not, if we just get stopped out at this 38, then so be it. Right? That's a great day so far. We are pushing up. We're $300 in profit on this. We've secured about just under 200 here with this. We've secured 180. This is a very strong candle. Nothing to tell me to get out. If we get to this VWAP extension here, then we're going to start to trail maybe to mid range of the candle. If we can get this 1 minute candle to break out, then I'm going to get below with that candle as well. All right, there we go. We're breaking out of that. So I'm going to be here at 40. That's good. I'm pretty happy with that. If you're watching, hopefully you saw that. This is how I could say I'm a scalper as far as getting it in, getting it out, and then trying to trail out that initial move to the upside. Being aggressive on the day, not being a pussy like I've been the rest of the week. Getting in on my ads. I take the quick losses. Yes, I might take a couple paper cuts here and there. I move to break even pretty quickly because a lot of the moves I want them to happen like this. I want this kind of action on a breakout. I want this kind of action on a fade. If we're going to fail a level like we did here, that's the kind of action that I want, right? That's what I'm looking to get. If we break these highs and we get to, like I said, that VWAP standard deviation away, then we should be into this level here. Honestly, we should be there anyway. Could run up to these highs. Once you get into these blue sky highs, these breakouts, if the S&Ps can play along and break above that 92450, then the Nasdaq should continue to run as well. So we got Microsoft to play along. We got Apple still running highs, and Nvidia, we're looking to also break highs here, right? So if Nvidia can continue on to the upside, then this should never really pull back. But if it does and we get stopped out right here like we did, we just secured our day pretty well. $770 on the day. Some really good trading. I was very aggressive. I didn't want to give much more of this back, right? This kind of big candle here. My initial target was at 38, so anything above 38 was going to be gravy to me, especially on a breakout like that. I'm not a breakout momentum trader, so I like to trail my profits, take them as they come. If this thing now runs up to these highs, so be it. I mean, I got to go to work anyway, so my stream normally ends at 11 o'clock, so if I would have still been trailing this, that's fine, right? But, realistically, if we go candle by candle, we should still be in and trailing this. So if that's how you're trailing, down there, then I would move to here. And so we can see if we crack that high now. If we crack that high now, you get back $100 on that. But if this is going to be a tweezer tops now, roll over, come back to test 38s, I've secured most of that move for myself. And based purely on this choppy price action from yesterday, middle of that range, you're going to get some action there anyway. Look at all that price action there. It's congestion. So that's where price was going to slow down no matter what. So I enter in on one contract, and then I will add a second. So this trade that we took earlier today, right? I took the entry. My first entry was a re-acceptance below the overnight high on a failed breakout. And then I added a second contract below here because if it did fail this, it is a confirmation that this should roll over, which it did. So then I got a firm push to the downside, and I took off one contract at the most obvious take profit point where price may rotate back on me, and then I'll leave one runner on. And then, like I said, right here, look at that. Beautiful trail. We got out. We secured most of that profit because otherwise we would be down here. So with this one that I just took, this breakout, was because we failed to break down and have any sort of acceptance below this zone. Really, once you rotate back above this candle here, that breakdown candle, that could be your ignition for entry, right? I did take the long here, got stopped out real quick, which, that's so be it, whatever it is, what it is. If I took that entry there, I wouldn't have gotten stopped because I would have had my stop below here. But I had that second ad above the breakout zone. So other people are playing the breakout here. I'm front running it, trying to get the break above the overnight high because I think that that's going to be the real ignition point, which we then finally got, added one on, took one off at the high here. We got that off, so then we have a risk-free trade. I moved to break even, and then we trail as we reach profit target areas, right? 38, I trailed up tighter. Once we broke out, got into that congestion zone, I started to be a little more tight with my trail, and we got out up here, right? And it ended up being a really good trail because of this. Like, once I get these breakouts, like I said, I'm not a momentum trader. It's very difficult for me to do that. I like to fade extremes. Look at that whip. that could be a liquidity grab right there. That's sped up real fast, or it's a huge size on the order, and this is going to roll over really, really hard, really fast. Very tempting to get involved in, really, once I see a candle move like that. There is some size playing, but we're within 5 minutes of a hourly close, and I don't take any trades there. That's not my thing. We're up 700 on the day after being down $2,000 yesterday. We pretty much brought ourselves back up to one loser away from being back in the green for the month. I don't like doing days like I did yesterday and the day before. I was very standoffish, didn't take some of my entries, then started to, not that I chased, but I started to take poorer entries and just whip myself out. So today came in with the plan of being more aggressive, take these trades, get in, get out, and secure some profit. So we did. So today we were up a nice little 770. We'll do account performance. I do trade a live funded account with Top Step, 100K account. Here's today's results. Took a couple small loss, and then we took a couple small wins, got ourselves back at break even, got above, another small loss. Then we took our $750 winner there. Nice little trade. Took a little drawdown on it, and then took our next really good trade with our ad, which makes up for the losers and then some. So that's how we're able to build this account up into where we are. If we're going to go with this month, yesterday was the shit day. The day before was also shit. But realistically, we're going to be able to build out of that drawdown. I'm not too concerned, right? Realistically, kind of without fees, this is minus fees, we are still back green. So this was our profit. Yesterday was really our shit day that really killed us, right? We went green to red. We were up pretty good, took a hit. But today we came back, we bounced back. We had a really good day. We executed on levels. And now that we are up 770, my stream ends in 3 minutes, 11 o'clock, pretty much every day. We can go to work today a little happier, a little more ready to come back tomorrow for Friday and really end this week off right. You know, do the same thing we did today, be a little bit aggressive, take all of our setups, take the entries. I take tight losses. I'm trying to limit my downside risk so that when I do get into a good winner, I can add some contracts, really secure those profits, and then maximize my gains, right? So that's what I'm looking at. I hope that helps you, Profit Trader. Really, in theory, if you're going to go with micros, you could go with larger entries to begin with multiple contracts, right? Like I mentioned that earlier today, where you do have, one full mini is 10 micros. If you enter one full mini and do it instead with 10 micros, you could enter in down here with your full size, really limit your loss, and then just shed your contracts as you go up and just leave one runner on for that full loss. And that really, even if you'll still make good money on that, and then you'll only be risking one of your 10 contracts. But right now it looks like we are rolling over. Be mindful of this. This breakout here could be a liquidity grab to now rotate us back down to that overnight low. Once you accept back below that overnight high and you start to rotate back down, start bleeding down, VWAP has acted as support. Watch VWAP if you're going to trade the rest of the day. If you start to accept below it, you could use these zones as a bleeder, right? And kind of rotate all the way down to the downside. Overall, stream ends in a minute. Any questions, concerns, comments, throw it in here. I'll answer some questions for the next couple minutes. Pretty happy with today. Up 770. Finished off pretty strong with that trade there. Really just basing it purely on price action. Failed breakdown, breakout to the upside, and just trailing that stop on the ad. So that was really a good finish to the day. Like I said, I have a soft open on my website now, daytradingcoffeecompany.com. The link is in the chat, also in the alerts. You might just have to copy and paste it in the alerts. It's on YouTube. We are a trading company. We are a coffee company first, but for traders, by traders. 10% of all profits is going to go to either giving out combines or funding accounts, depending on how big we eventually get in the future. If we can get to a point where we can start funding real accounts, giving people some real reason to drink our coffee, fuel their trading, grow their P&L, and then also for underfunded traders who just want to drink some good coffee, get into some combines, learn. I'm going to try and provide that opportunity for people. So we're going to use the stream, we're going to use the coffee, and we're going to grow the trading community here as much as we can. So head over to there, check it out. We got merch, we got coffee. We roast it on order, so you're always getting the freshest coffee available. Usually ships within a day or two, so just be mindful of that. And as we get more followers and get some people over there, that funding account will grow, and we'll try and start issuing those out. I'm going to try and see if I can partner with Top Step or some of those other communities and try and start issuing out some combines for people so they can drink some good coffee and feel like, once you buy an order or you're a trader, you want to get involved in getting some of these things, I want to be able to give that out to people. So just wait and see. After the first month of being open, maybe 2 months, we're going to start to really do the giveaways monthly. So it should be a cool thing. I currently am in a live funded account, express funded for Top Step right now. Yeah, so I'm funded with a 100K account. I do have a combine that I copy traded to today. The combine is here. Currently, that combine is up 1,628. I didn't copy trade the whole day, so I didn't get that full 700, but up 200 on the combine. Just 150K combine there, but I am funded with a 100K express funded account. Like I showed the P&L curve before, we were up about $1,500 on the account, and yesterday we just really decided to make it a challenge for ourselves, but we left enough capital in the account to continue trading. And so we're just looking to slowly grow it back up again, not trying to make back one shitty day in one day. So we're going to build off of that. So today we did a really good job of, executing, build back that account size, and then look to grow that account there. So yeah, I'm trading prop. I used to trade equities fund, a prop firm, T3 Trading. I was licensed, had my Series 57. I just really am drawn to the futures and the way the price action is, and how I can really profit day to day by really understanding my one niche of the NASDAQ, and then even so the S&Ps as well. Sometimes I'll trade over there, and then I'm going to try and start to grow. Maybe I'll get into some of the other stuff, but right now, while NASDAQ provides opportunities, I'm going to continue to trade it, and it is really useful to get a combine. Get yourself funded. I've been funded dozens of times. It happens that you end up losing them, you go on tilt or whatever happens, but as long as you're consistent, they're always going to be there. They're going to provide you the funding. They're going to pay you out. It's a really reputable firm. They've been around for a long time, so it's really good to see. So if you really want to get involved with Top Step, I don't have any affiliate codes or anything like that. Just go over to topstep.com, get yourself a 50K, and you can trade along with me. It's like $49. Like I said, with the coffee company, as we grow it, I'm putting 10% of all profits into funding traders. So follow along with my stream. If you're in here, you're participating daily, you could be one of those streamers, one of those viewers that could get a free funded account from me. I'm going to buy the combines at least to start, and then look to grow that account as the company grows. The more we make, the more we can put into combines, and even maybe getting our own liquidity pool, and maybe getting people funded pretty quickly. So if you want to be involved, just let me know. You can always sign up on our website, daytradingcoffeeco.com. The link is in here. Just send us an email, and you could be entered into getting one of those accounts later on once we've established ourselves. But that's the plan for the coffee company. Drinking good, fresh coffee, directed to traders, for traders. There's going to be helpful education in there as well on coffee and on trading. So you can go in there, read the blogs, read the posts, free education. I'm not trying to charge anything for classes. So as I make a course, I'm going to put it in there free of charge. Just get some coffee, drink it, watch the course videos, and go. I will be posting a video on it probably sometime this week. Currently, you're in a 50K challenge with Apex, so you suggested to get this into funded. Yeah, absolutely. So I've done Apex. I've been funded with Apex a few times. I just don't personally like. For me, for Apex, they trail your intraday profits. So my trading style does sort of work for it, really, where I'm securing profits. You got to cut your losers really quick, especially with Apex. Cut your losers quick, and as you have profits, take them. Don't cut yourself short. Take them as you see your trailing needs are met. But with Apex, you do have an intraday trailing loss limit. So let's say your 50K account, your trailing drawdown is $2,500, I think, whatever it is. If you go up 1,000 and you come back 500, you're actually down more than just you're not up 1,000 anymore. You're only up 500 because of that intraday drawdown. So just be mindful of that intraday drawdown. Take it slow. Secure your profits. Just because they say you could get funded in 1 day, 2 days, 7 days, you don't have to hit that. There's no time limit. Their job is to try and sell you combines. So if you want to be funded and you want to do it long term, you have to start slow, secure your profits, and then slowly grow that account. Make your, especially with a 50K, they'll let you trade tons of contracts, but that's going to blow you up quick. Even if you're in profit, you're trading a ton of contracts, you're in profit, and it pulls you back and draws you down $2,000, you're out. You lost your account, right? So don't oversize. Keep it slow. One or two minis is plenty. If you're in a 50K, Apex micros is useful because they do let you leverage micros. You could do 10 micros and then just kind of trail yourself out as you see the drawdown coming. It's less volatile with those micros. Yes, it's going to take you a little longer to get funded, but it's going to develop you good habits and it's going to keep you funded once you're there. So realistically, my suggestion to you is get funded. Take it slow, secure your profits as they come, especially with Apex. With Top Step, they don't do an intra-trade drawdown, right? So if I'm up, even intraday, right? So if I'm up $5,000 on a day and I want to give all $5,000 back, it's end of day trail drawdown. So just be mindful of that, just from prop firm to prop firm. I'm not saying that Apex is bad or good. I like them as far as cheap combines and just being able to try and get a couple out there and funded. And if you're able to leverage them, it is very good. But realistically, they're a marketing company that's going to manipulate a little bit, right? They're trying to get you to get funded in 1 day, which is not necessary. You want to build consistency, so take 5 days instead of making $2,000 in 1 day by oversizing, because there's a good chance you're going to draw down, right? You're gonna miss one trade and then you're gonna lose it, right? So take it slow, secure your profits, take it day to day. If you come to my stream, I'm hoping to help people get funded. That's my goal with this stream. I want people to leverage their accounts, leverage the funding accounts, grow your accounts slowly, follow the plan of the day. Really, we're fading extremes here. If you're a breakout trader or you want to look for momentum, or if you want to play this wedge breakout here, I talk about it. I didn't necessarily take it, but we're going to talk those out. So anything that you see that you want to trade, I'm not going to give you a strategy. I'm not going to tell you enter now, get out, because that's silly. You want to learn to trade on your own. I'm here to be good company. I'm here to be educational. I want to be able to provide value where you can learn to trade. You can understand why I get in or why I get out of trades. I talk it out. But then also it gives you that same mindset of why is he getting in, or why should I get in? Or, I tell you levels, right? I'll tell you 17,680 right now seems like it's a really important level. And then I've made money shorting that level or fading it to the high side. And I have people in the chat here that have faded my move and they make money to the short side. And we both make money because our risk tolerances are slightly different. We're trading a little bit different size. I might take my profits quick and get out, and then it might roll over through that level, and then they take their short and they make profit, right? So I'm not telling you you should go long here, you should go short here, this is it. I'll just tell you what I'm doing, what I'm looking at, and why a level is significant in my eyes over a period of time. And then you can make your own decisions, and that'll help you grow yourself long term. I think realistically that's all we're trying to do here. Just try to provide that value. So if you have any other questions, I'll stay on for a few more minutes. I hope I provided some value today. We were definitely happy with our ability to bounce back after a really shitty day yesterday. I don't try to carry day in to day out, the emotions, but it's hard to come into a day after you lose $2,000 and say, I'm going to be aggressive, I'm going to take my entries, and I'm going to do it. But that's what you have to do. You have to continue to do your strategy, be aggressive, do your thing. Don't make stupid trades. Don't just overly be aggressive just because then that's going to continue your drawdown. You want to be able to understand why you did what you did yesterday and then adjust and make that next trade the next day and really be a good trader in that sense. But so here we are bouncing here. I'm not going to take any more trades. I'm flat. I actually got to just make sure my orders are all out. We're out. I'm going to cut off my copier so that doesn't just run in the background. We're going to watch. You can watch here. You got NASDAQ on the left, Apple on the right. They act in conjunction. So I'll leave this up on the screen here. Any other questions, comments, or concerns? We're good. I'm pretty happy with how everything played out today. Like I said, if you have any questions, you feel free. You can always message me on Instagram, Policing Pips, at Policing Pips on Instagram. I'm on YouTube, at Policing Pips over there, at Day Trading Coffee Co. That's also our Instagram. I will be ready to continue to build on this account tomorrow. I trade every day, 8 a.m. Central till 11 Central. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I may go a little longer. It does say on the Tradecaster that I will be on at 1 to 3, but that's just a generalization on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Some days, if I did what I did today, I'm less likely to come on at 1, but I will come on and talk to people and see what's up. If there's anything else that anybody has, like I said, message me on Instagram. You can always put a message in Tradecaster. I'll come back. I'll answer it at some point. I'll check it while I'm at work here and there while I have some downtime. But a really good day. Nice little bounce back from yesterday. We made 770 on the day with all of our, limiting our downside and maximizing on our trades to the upside. I do like these trades where I can add on a contract, get in, get out, and then leave a runner so I can properly trail that runner. That's what we're going to do tomorrow too. We're going to be a little aggressive. Fridays tend to be a little bit slower of a day, so hopefully we can kind of get in, get out early, and be done for the day. The goal for the day tomorrow is to just match today's type of energy, today's type of entries, being aggressive. I don't want to be overly aggressive on a Friday. If I do get up early, up profit-wise early on the day, then I'll look to kind of continue on with it and maybe push the limits a little bit more than I would on a Friday. But if I go down a little bit and I get myself back to break even, Fridays are a wash for me. We did kind of ruin the week. We have one more partial week left next week. We end the month on the 31st. We're trying to be green for the month. It doesn't matter if you're green, red, daily, weekly, even monthly, really. But if we can get a green month every month, then we're profitable for the year, right? So, yes, I was up pretty good. We had 2 green weeks, and up until yesterday, we were green for the week as well. But yesterday drew us down quite a bit. So in order to get ourselves back into the green for the week, we got to be up over $800 on the account. So could do the same thing we did today and call it a scratch week. But if we don't, I'm not looking to put a number on it. I'm looking to just execute properly. Maybe I can take, like I said, if I could take 1 or 2 good ones like I did today, 1, 2 good ones there, these 2 really made my day. So if you want to review any of the stream will be on YouTube. You can go back, look at what we got going on. Until tomorrow, 8:30 a.m., we will be back streaming live. We did a nice little rebound day, 770 on the day. Come on out, support us. Check out Tradecaster.com. It is the streaming software for traders, by traders. Get that free trial. Hang out afterwards. If you want to join afterwards, awesome. If not, I'll be free for a bit, so no worries there. I think it's just a really useful resource for traders. So until tomorrow, I'll talk to you all then.